Justin Hawkins in Titans news yesterday. A grand jury has reportedly indicted cornerback Legarius Sneed in Dallas County, Texas, for the failure to report a felony where a reasonable person would have been believed to seriously bodily harm or death may have resulted. It's a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by a maximum of 1 year in jail, a $4,000 fine, or both. In other NFL news, Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter will miss the remainder of the 2025 season after undergoing successful knee surgery to repair an LCL injury in his right knee. The second overall pick finishes his rookie year with 28 catches for 298 yards receiving and 1 touchdown on offense. And on defense, he had 15 tackles, 3 pass deflections in just 7 games. Also, newly acquired Eagles cornerback Jair Alexander is reportedly stepping away from the game of football to reset mentally and physically and will determine his future in the NFL. And in college football, the playoff rankings were released last night. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Georgia remain as the top 5 teams, and then followed by Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Miami, and South Florida round out the 12-team bracket. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A very good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome in. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone on a beautiful Wednesday morning, middle of the week, which, of course, means, as Ramon Foster says, it's reset day. New opponents, Titans and Texans. We will preview with Rhett Bryan at 9 a.m. We've got new college football playoff rankings to get into. Brad Crawford joins us at 8:20, 247 Sports, to break all of that down. How many changes can the Titans offense realistically make out of the bye week? We'll talk to 11-year NFL veteran, Vault for Life, Ramon Foster, about that. Justin Hawkins, our producer. My name is Will Bowling, 615-737-1045 on this Wednesday, November the 12th. Good morning. How we doing?
Hey, what up, Will? Man, I feel like I'm back on my rhythm now already. You know, just reset. You come back in town and you miss that first day of the work week, it really throws you off, man. So I'm reset now. Everything is everything. I've got a schedule back at home and we're good to go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Did you see the Northern Lights last night?
You didn't tell me this?
Social media should have told you this. You're not following the right people. If you
No,
didn't see
I'm
this.
not.
Yeah.
I pretty much tried to go through a social media cleanse, too, with as much foolishness as on there. And I missed the Northern Lights announcement?
I also woke up to a lot of pictures in my family group text because I was watching a new show on Apple last night, and I was locked in on some good college basketball. Did not see the Northern Lights myself either, but I was curious if you did, because I feel like you love these kinds of things.
I always keep up with these types of things.
You do?
Okay, I really do.
So
See, here's the issue. I also did a little bit of a cleanse on my timeline for a little while because you can check it to where it doesn't go, well, nobody who follows you, unverified accounts, all that type of stuff like that, basically getting the spam out. And clearly, I need spam on my timeline. I clearly need it. And you know what's even wilder? I watched the local news yesterday.
Did you?
I did. And not a single announcement of it yesterday. So my mother-in-law gets on us about that. Y'all don't need to watch the news and know what's going on around. This Barb, shout out to this Barb. You co-sign that too?
I do.
Well, I did yesterday, man. I was at home for a second and in between a little work, and I was like, let me turn on the news right quick, man. And there was some stuff on there. I saw it was a historic hotel that burned down in the county over. So that always sucks, man. But great basketball last night, too.
Very good basketball last night. Louisville, Kentucky, Florida, Florida State, Ole Miss, and Memphis. Tennessee in action tonight. They were off last night, but yeah, the amount of good SEC teams that have played non-conference rivals this earlier mode, it feels earlier for a lot of these games than usual.
It does. And maybe it's because they know they can compete now, so they're not scared of the matchups that they got going on.
Fair.
And it was good. It was fast last night. It was It was almost as if it was like holiday basketball / conference basketball.
It definitely
last night.
felt like it.
I don't know if I've heard a regular season game be louder this early than what Louisville, Kentucky was. Now, I know that's a real hate match right there, too.
Big time.
But that's just what we do in sports. And like you say from time to time, Will, it's good to have a little hate in sports.
Oh, no doubt. They got plenty of it to go around in the KFC Yum Center last night. 96-88, Louisville getting the win. 12th ranked Cardinals over 9th ranked Kentucky. Kentucky's first loss. Louisville goes to 3-0. The Vols will see Louisville in about a month as well. It'll be a great game. Michael Brown is a name to know. Scored 20 of his 29 points in the first half. They held on. Cardinals led this game by 20. With 12:24 left, they're up 78-58 before Kentucky did what they do and started pouring in threes. I forgot how entertaining Kentucky games are, even as a neutral observer. And let's be honest, I'm not really a neutral observer as someone who went to the University of Tennessee, but they are entertaining to watch, Ramon, because they'll make a ton of threes. They have never practiced defense in their time with Mark Pope as the head coach, and they are never out of a game. They also have no lead that's ever safe in a game themselves. Very entertaining to watch. And it felt like a January or February conference game, at least, if not a tournament game.
It did, man. It was fun to watch. Like I said, the crowd was loud. It was very spirited. Louisville, man, every basket they made, I felt like in the first half was above the rim. They were electric, man. And I don't want to just not say what Kentucky was. Kentucky's not a bad team. Louisville in that first half, they just could not miss. They were striking it up, man, from outside. As you said before, and I want to reiterate what you just said. Remember the name Michael Brown Jr. He is him. I thought he was just, a smaller guard that's going to play outside. I say small. What's his height real quick? Oh, he's 6'5"? Okay. Amongst those giants out there, those trees, he looked like he's 6'2". And the only reason I brought that up, too, is because there are certain things that I've learned through Ron Slay, a.k.a. Savage, that says this about those young basketball players. He's like, it ain't a matter of can they shoot. It's a matter of how aggressive they are, too, even if they miss. And last night, I just thought he was a perimeter guy, but he drives down the lane and attempts to dunk on the entire Kentucky basketball team for a little while. And I was just like, hold up, did he just try to bam on them? And it's like he missed it but got fouled. But what you're looking for is guys that have that attacking nature, and they got one of those type of dudes, man. He's a freshman, 6'5", 180. Like this class of freshman from BYU. It's
really good. AJ DeBansa, BYU.
North Carolina. Like
Boozers.
The Boozers, Nate Ament. Yeah, I mean.
For sure.
If you don't like the NBA, you need to watch college basketball.
And
you were watching.
For those not watching on Zone TV. But yeah, I was locked in.
Yeah, I do get the differences, though, and how the game is played and what you love to see, the tempo of it, the
atmospheres, the allegiances,
the
the meaning of that game in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, my gosh.
Significant.
Yes.
Largest margin of victory for Louisville over Kentucky since they won 89-75 in Lexington on January 5th, 2008.
Yeah.
I know the broadcast and Dan Schulman and Jay Billis were talking about how it's odd that game is being played so far ahead of the football game between those two teams, because typically it's around the same time, around Thanksgiving. Yeah. So certainly earlier than usual, but man, the atmosphere was awesome, game was awesome, and Louisville basketball, awesome. They are going to be very, 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 very good.
No doubt about it. You know what's even crazier, too, is you don't and we're not discounting Kentucky at all, but Kentucky also has a Florida transfer that won a national championship with them last year.
Denzel Aberdeen.
I was like, hold up.
Led him in scoring, 26 points on 10 of 20 from the floor last night.
And I'm looking at this just like, okay, that can't be the same guy. It is. And I'm sure Kentucky gave him a bag to leave. But that's also the other side of it, too. You accomplished the ultimate championship, and that's winning a natty. You're a free agent, especially if you don't get the right grades you want to going into the draft.
Well, then you have guys who are going to ring chase at Florida, like Boogie Fland, who was at Arkansas last year. Part of Florida's 78-76 win over FSU last night. That game was very close.
Yeah.
Florida trailed at halftime of that game. They've got a lot to replace off of last year's national championship team. They also brought back a lot of their front court. Mm-hmm. And Chinyelu is back, and Condon is back, and some of the big guys. But well, not having Walter Clayton Jr. obviously
That's the
is a big shoes to fill. They already have one loss on their ledger to Arizona this year, but the college basketball is in a really good place. It could be really fun this season. And Jay Billis talked about it on the ESPN broadcast for Louisville, Kentucky last night. This is the best and deepest freshman class. I don't want to totally put words in his mouth, but like that's kind of what I took away from what he said was that this is as deep as of a freshman class as he's seen in what he said, I think 31 years of broadcasting. And you mentioned it. I mean, between the boozers at Duke, between the talent at Louisville and Michael Brown, Nate Ament is certainly a part of that at Tennessee. It is going to be a very fun season. Very fun season of college basketball.
And you mentioned the matchups. Like we're talking about Florida versus Florida State, Louisville versus Kentucky, and also, too, the Battle of Memphis. Ole Miss versus the University of Memphis.
Absolutely.
That was another good one last night, man. We can't forget about them. What are we doing?
Well, in Nashville, Ramon, considering I was born here, it's in my DNA to forget about Memphis.
That's it. Good matchup, man. I didn't get all of that one in last night. They started a little bit later, but you can tell Ole Miss has what it takes to. Memphis is 1-1 on the season. Ole Miss 3-0. But again, just looking at the way they're going to be set up too, with Carmodine as being their leader in scoring last night. Malik Dia, who Ron Slay has as one of his player of the year favorites in the SEC. They got a big team. They got an athletic team. Watching just a little bit of it last night, they're going to be up and down the court, and they can also set up in the half court too. So the SEC in a real good place right now too. And I ain't look at a whole lot of what Arkansas had going on the time that I was watching them, simply because they were playing. Who was it? Central Arkansas from behind the perimeter. They were good. From behind the 3-point line, they were real good.
In the F&M Bank Chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, where you can join the conversation. This is the earliest we've ever had a "We are their Super Bowl" comment ever from a Kentucky basketball fan, but we've already got that in the F&M Bank Chat. Not just any fan, our friend Sally, who we love, who hangs out with us regularly in the F&M Bank Chat, says, UK is Louisville's Super Bowl. Man, yeah, that is the tried and true method. Anytime Kentucky loses a basketball game, hit the button, tap the sign, we're your Super Bowl. Tap the sign, we're your Super Bowl. We love you, Sally. We're just giving you a hard time.
It's so funny.
It's just the go-to line for Kentucky fans anytime they lose in basketball.
Yeah. I was texting my brother Renardo's the exact same. He's a Louisville alum, and he hates UK the same way that Sally hates Louisville. And I was just like, man, you can't really point out a weakness. Our group chat last night said, you can't really point out a weakness of either one of those teams. I was like, Kentucky just got cold. And my brother Nardo texts back, we going to keep their ass cold.
Live,
they did.
Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. We've got college football playoff rankings. We've got concern levels over Clark Lee's contract situation at Vanderbilt. We'll talk about that coming up next. Wednesday morning, Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, and Scooters can fuel you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. 615-737-1045. Daniel lets us know on Twitter, Ramon, that the Northern Lights are happening again tonight.
Yes.
So this is your warning.
And I don't have to be at a gym tonight, so I will be out. And we've been debating, me and my wife have real quick on, like, does our neighborhood need, like, street lights and stuff? And she wants street lights. And I'm like, I don't want street lights because I want to be able to just hide behind where I live at and also just look up at the stars without, light pollution and all those types of things. So tonight, I will be outside. Now, the real question is, do I also light a fire and do this Northern Light thing? Bring my boys outside and say, hey, look what Big Dad brought to you tonight.
That's a good idea.
Big Dad, I mean the Lord.
The answer will be yes.
And the answer is yes.
Fire is always nice in the wintertime.
I know, but what's the weather
It does
today?
feel like winter. It's supposed to get warmer today.
I know, it's supposed to be warmer this weekend, too. A great time to just have on my crew neck of all tradition shirt this weekend.
There you go.
Booth.
College football playoff rankings out last night with 3 weeks to go in the college football regular season. Same top four: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama. Starting there, should A&M have moved up at least to 2, Ramon?
Indiana's just fire hot right now.
Were they, though, over the weekend?
I mean, that was a monumental win. Like, that was the way they won it, I thought the style points allowed them to stay at number 2. Like, they didn't lose it. Penn State gave the new coach bump to be able to pull that one out. I didn't think they deserved the knock. Although, who was it that moved up 2 spots this past weekend? Miami.
Texas Tech moved up to 6.
Yes, Texas Tech. So, I wouldn't knock them. I thought that proved that they belonged even more right there with a Penn State team like that. That was the first time also that talent has shown up like that this year, too. Penn State, that is. Like,
tonight, Dennis Sutton was wreaking havoc on the Indiana offensive line.
where is that part of it at? You know what I'm saying?
Great question.
It's fascinating.
A lot of what they were supposed to be all year, kind of like Auburn playing at Vandy, looking like they were supposed to all season.
Yeah.
Georgia would host USF in the opening round. Stephen Godfrey was in here Monday when you were out talking about how I know that the seeding has changed and now the top 4 ranked teams are the 4 teams that get the bye. So maybe there's not as advantageous of a spot for the 5 seed, but wouldn't you rather be the 5 seed and not have to play in the SEC championship game and have a cupcake game, respectfully, against a G5 team in the 5-12 matchup and then play the 4 seed versus have to be probably a team, either Alabama or A&M, who loses the SEC championship game, because that's probably who the SEC championship game is going to be between. The loser of that game getting the 4 seed, having to play that extra game. Okay, you get the bye week, but you also had to play an extra game in the process. You're still playing the same amount of football games, and you get to play that game against USF or James Madison, go Dukes, instead of the SEC champion.
Yeah, you can hold me out of the SEC championship. I'm okay with not doing that. This is the way I look at it. Again, it's a bonus round, I feel like, for you. Like, yes, you won't. Now, see, that almost feels like we're, like undermining what the SEC championship is, though, too. But you look at just the outlook. What's the ultimate goal? Is to go to the CFP College Football Championship.
Well,
that's what you're looking for. But to your point, I like to win the SEC, but we're looking at it right now. Like, how much does that mean in the grand scheme of things when it comes down to being prepared or being healthy?
For Georgia, it meant they lost their quarterback last season and had a worse chance of beating Notre Dame.
Exactly.
I mean, the sport has undermined the championship games. It's not us, but the format of the playoff. Oregon would host Notre Dame in the 8-9 matchup. Oregon, who I think could lose a game and still get in. They still have USC. They still got to go to Washington, which is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination at the end of the season. And Notre Dame is certainly one loss from being out. If they drop one of these final couple games, they are done. And they go to Pitt this weekend. Texas Tech would host Miami, who is ranked 15th as the projected ACC champion within this. Texas Tech projected Big 12 champion. They would get in as an at-large anyway, though, with one loss. Ole Miss would be 7. Texas, the current 10 seed. within all of this. What is interesting to me, Ramon, is that BYU is 12 with one loss. Utah is 13 with one loss. Vanderbilt is 14 with two losses.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to quote Mike Vrabel. Is this interesting or is it important? One loss BYU being at that spot means to me that if they were to go to the Big 12 championship game and lose, they would still be in, even if they would have the same amount of losses as Vanderbilt. Because I still will believe it when I see it, that a conference championship game loser is going to be punished relative to a team that was home that weekend. The fact that the committee has now set forward that BYU and Utah, both teams who could play in the Big 12 championship game against Texas Tech, are ahead of Vanderbilt today with one less loss, I think is bad news for the Commodores and their chances of getting in at 10-2 in the college football playoff.
Yep. And then this loss that they have, besides if they do lose in the conference championships, is to Texas Tech. And that's where it becomes super problematic. Now, conference bias is going to play a part in that too, as far as Vanderbilt's argument, I guess.
Yep.
Now, the biggest issue that Vandy has is, respectfully, the newness to this. What type of representation or hosting, if they do get an opportunity, or role presence do they get if they also go into this? Does money matter is what I'm getting at in the college football playoffs, travel or home hosting situations in this too? It's not supposed to.
It's supposed to just be the 12 best teams. Well, the 10 best teams plus an ACC team and a G5 team.
Yeah, I'm hoping Vandy doesn't get knocked, though, too, because of the newness to this new world of football that they're first up in. They've earned this, is what I would say also, when you look at their schedule, when you look at how they've played and how they've won, too. Now, the one loss, to your point, though, that they have, the one loss that BYU has is to Texas Tech, and they are fire high. Yep. I don't know if that's going to be a good enough knock on them, even if the rest of their schedule, I don't want to say it's cake, but they've earned it just the same as Indiana's earned this new too. Vanderbilt's issue is they're not ranked high enough yet.
Correct. So there are, again, a lot of scenarios that get Vandy in the college football playoff, and I think people forget how much help Tennessee had to get last year at 10-2.
True.
Tennessee needed a Florida loss or a Florida win over Ole Miss. They got it. It didn't hurt as well that Alabama lost at Oklahoma and didn't look like a college football team. Who does Alabama play this weekend? Oklahoma. Which is another team that is ranked ahead of Vanderbilt, as they are ranked 11th in this process at the moment. So Oklahoma's still got to go to Bama. Texas has still got to go to Georgia and host A&M. I think that's the other team that could steal a bid here, Ramon, is that 3-loss Texas, I think, gets in over a 2-loss Vanderbilt because of the head-to-head win, and that would insinuate they've got to either have a win over A&M or at Georgia on their ledger. Now, if they lose both those games, obviously they're done.
Yeah, they're cooked.
But how much are you really going to penalize Texas for going to Columbus to take on Ohio State? Because that would be their 3rd loss. Meanwhile, Vandy played Virginia Tech. That's not necessarily Vandy's fault. They got unlucky. Virginia Tech stinks. They fired their coach. That was supposed to be a higher-level P4 win, ACC win.
South Carolina was too.
South Carolina was, and South Carolina used the same thing. They also played Virginia Tech, who obviously South Carolina very far from playoff contention. But again, you can only play the teams on your schedule, and these things are scheduled so far in advance that it's hard to really project. Obviously, who's going to help you get in the playoff and who's going to just be a net nothing for you. But Vanderbilt needs help. And this idea that you just waltz into the playoff at 10-2 in the SEC, I don't know where it came from. Maybe it just came from Tennessee last season, or just the fact that most years 10-2 probably gets you in. This isn't most years. Nothing about the 2025 college football season is very normal.
What threw it off to me is, the Big Ten having 3 teams for sure again. And that one team is Indiana. Indiana playing a part in it, Oregon playing a part in it, Ohio State playing a part in it for sure.
Yep, we did not expect Indiana to be this again.
Not like this. No. Absolutely not. Just looking at Vanderbilt's schedule, too, that Tennessee game is going to mean a good bit to them, but is it in the end? Like you said, Virginia, South Carolina definitely screwed them over. Their losses are, too, yes. At the time, Vandy was ranked ahead of where Texas is now. Texas is ranked ahead of them now, the way it's set up, too. And a Missouri win. 17-10 is the way you look at that one also. And now Missouri's unranked themselves. Like, there's other things that are playing in front of them when it comes down to, because they said this year they will look at quality losses and quality wins. Now, is Missouri also a quality loss to the Vanderbilt resume? That's what they have to ask themselves over, like, to your point, BYU, Texas Tech, that group over there in the Big 12 or Pac-12.
It doesn't help
Pac-12, Big 12.
For who?
The Texas Tech.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's only 2 teams in the Pac-12. The Missouri situation too is impacted by their quarterback situation, and they are a totally different team now with Matt Zollers, the freshman at quarterback, versus Bo Pribula, who Vanderbilt knocked out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So my question for you on Vandy, Ramon, big picture. Are you concerned that Clark Lee doesn't have a new contract yet? Because I'm, with every day, getting a little bit more interested by this situation. And I think Penn State, every day that he doesn't have a new contract, gets a little more interested in the situation.
Yeah. It's a couple of coaches or a group of coaches that you got to have your eye on. I put a couple. Lane. Well, you understand he's the hottest one. Ole Miss.
And Lane Kiffin's not a Penn State fit.
No, he's not, but I'm just looking at, like, the guys that should be locked up that aren't, that are going to flirt is the point I'm getting at. Like, right now, these guys got a wandering eye, as the old people like to say. They're looking around. And that's Lane, who's yet to commit to Ole Miss if Ole Miss has actually offered him something up. And the longer you wait, the higher the price goes up, too.
True.
And it is also Clark. Like, I'm looking at the best thing that Indiana's had, right? And Kurt Signetti. And they said, we love you, and I hope you love us back. And he said, yeah, I do, at the term of $13 million a year.
And here's an 8-year contract.
Yeah.
Sign on the dotted line.
Age.
Said it got done in about 24 hours.
Didn't mind. The age didn't matter or anything else. And I'm looking at those situations quite the same. And there's some hot jobs out here, too. Is it highly questionable? Heck yes, it is. Because there's no reason Clark shouldn't be lined up with a new deal as it stands. The real question I have to ask you, Will, is how loyal is it? Screw the school. Screw the school. We've seen Coach Foreman come back and play the AD role. Sometimes those things just don't work out, and you got to do what's best for you. There's others that have gone home and pretty much got kicked out. We look at Hugh Freeze and the begging that he had to stay and come back home or come home so you can be like it. As a coach, you do have to look at these situations because you'll get ice cold. And then your opportunity's gone, especially if there's a better one there. Mm-hmm. In the coaching world, do you take this opportunity now or do you stay loyal and say, I want to build this up? Because the prospect of him finding this again at Vanderbilt University, we've yet to see it. I'm going to go the Nick Saban route. We've yet to see it. So how much does he trust himself, his staff, and his coordinators to do this again at Vandy?
I think the thing about this is there is no excuse for him to not have a new contract today. There's none.
Yeah.
You're already in your bye week with a 2-week stretch of Kentucky and Tennessee to finish the season. You can't make the argument that there's too much going on and you're focused on games. Like, that didn't matter for Kurt Signetti, and he's playing bigger games right now than you are.
Helps recruiting.
If you really felt like you could get a deal done now, then go ahead and do it. Godfrey put this on my radar on Monday because Stephen Godfrey made the point in our hour with him saying that the things he's hearing are insane about this, of like, why in the world have you not gone ahead and made this happen? I never considered that Clark Lee was really a serious candidate to leave. He is a Nashville native.
Facts.
He went to MBA. He went to Vanderbilt. He played at Vanderbilt. Everything he has ever said lines up with the fact that he wants to build Vanderbilt into the kind of program that Kurt Signetti is building Indiana up to.
Agree.
Here's the difference. Kurt Signetti has a new contract. Clark Lee doesn't. Is that because Vanderbilt is not ready to give him the resources that he wants in order to take that contract? Doesn't mean that Clark Lee wants the price to go up, yet ultimately stay and leverage the Penn State job in the offseason when he's not focused on a playoff hunt? Maybe. Does it mean that, I don't know, something gets done this week? Again, like, there's no excuse for it to have gone this long. And the fact of the matter is there are enough good jobs open that one of these coaches who are coaching at their alma maters is probably going to leave. between Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State, Brent Key at Georgia Tech, and Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. I'm just going to have to believe it when I see it, that none of those coaches are going to leave. And I don't care what they say. I really don't. I don't care about, cut me open, see what I bleed. All right, well, let's cut your bank account open and see how much money can influence you to bleed a different color. Right. Because $20 million, and all of a sudden, I'd bleed purple. I'd bleed whatever color you like.
Gold, right?
Go ahead and let's get to it. Yeah. Hand me the IV.
Right.
I think it's interesting. Now, there may be a plan over there. They may be ironing out final details. There may be something privately agreed to in principle that we don't know about. I don't think that's the case, but I will give them a little bit of that grace. Here's the thing, though, Ramon. They haven't really earned the benefit of the doubt at Vanderbilt. They haven't. And while Clark Lee and his staff has, while the football team on the field has earned the benefit of the doubt of hey, going into a big spot, going into a game with a lot of pressure against them against Auburn, they earned the benefit of the doubt that they're going to handle this season and not let the pressure cave in on them. Mm-hmm. They're not going to lose for the extra stuff and noise. It's not going to get to them at this point the way it did to Tennessee against South Carolina back in 2022. But that administration has got to still earn the benefit of the doubt that they can handle a situation like this, because it has been a long time. It has been over a decade since Vanderbilt had a coach that was in this high demand worth keeping. And this regime over there in the big offices with the mahogany desks has not had to do this yet. You better figure it out, because you are a non-serious athletic department and institution if you let this guy walk. Non-serious. As Godfrey said on Monday, what part of Indiana doesn't make sense to you that you don't think you could do here? Rant over.
Here's what I'm picking up right now. He received a 3-year extension in July of 2023 after being hired in December 2020. You know what is, I'm not sure if you do, not including bonuses, his base salary is 3.7.
I mean, that's going up either way.
Yeah, I know, but
why hasn't it already gone up?
My question is 3.7 at Vanderbilt. Now, we're looking at other schools. I got the list of other schools with Kurt Signetti also in it too, of these salaries that they have, about the seriousness of what the decision that they have to make. Business is one thing. Okay, do you ever get doubled the salary? Usually, not usually, but sometimes it happens. He's going to have to get triple of what that is in order to keep him there. Is the way I'm looking at it. Now, to your point about how serious are they as far as shelling out the money? The lowest guy on this top list is Deion Sanders at 8.9. Heupel's at 9, allegedly. Kurt Signetti just cleared his at Indiana for something they've never done before, which is the equivalent of what Vanderbilt and Clark Lee got going on too. Kurt Signetti's at 11.6. The question Vanderbilt has to ask themselves, the athletic program, is how much do you trust Clark Lee and his staff? Because there's a component in it too. They have to have a concept of believing, well, what if it doesn't work with you in the next 2 years? Are they willing to give him Dan Lanning, Steve Sarkisian, $10 million a year? Is also how you got to look at that.
I think you have to.
And that's the point of it all, though, too.
Yeah,
to your point, how comfortable are they going to be of putting this type of money out for a coach like this? Because he goes to being second, third highest public office. Well, no, they're private. They don't have to do this.
Yeah, right.
But as far as salaries in Tennessee's for coaches, he's got to go over Heupel, I'd expect.
Potentially. Based on this market, yeah, I think there's a scenario where that happens. I think Tennessee would then quickly correct that.
But that's the game.
Yeah, you're right. That's how this works.
This has never happened for them to play this game.
100%. 615-737-1045. Open to Vanderbilt fans if you want to get in on this. And maybe you aren't as concerned as I think you should be about the fact that Clark Lee doesn't have a contract yet. Are you worried, Vanderbilt fan out there, that your head coach doesn't have a new deal yet? 615-737-1045. Plus, a coach that is going to be coaching in a game with Vanderbilt playoff implications this weekend is taking a very odd route to motivate his team that you'll hear coming up next.
Genesis Diamonds presents the Holiday Love Event, the biggest and final sale of the year. You can go ahead and mark your calendars for next weekend. That's November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, where you can enjoy store-wide savings up to 20, 30, and up to 35% off. And I'm talking about engagement rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets. This is the biggest and final store-wide sale of the year. If you've lived here a while, you know this is the event everyone waits for. Acclaimed designers will be here with their entire collections. Even luxury pre-owned Rolexes are included in this. Zero interest financing also available to you. And the staff at Genesis knows they can break all the rules during the 3-day, $30 million sale. Get moving on the fall engagement proposal, or shop early for Christmas, or simply reward yourself now with a stunning Rolex watch. Whatever the occasion, don't miss this incredible savings event. Up to 35% off Genesis amazing everyday low prices, store-wide, colored gemstone jewelry, the latest designer creations, diamond classics. Get the best price of the year. And it's 3 days only, November 21st through the 23rd, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
So head coaches take sometimes very unique motivational techniques in college football. And there is one who is trying to motivate his team by just not being motivational at all. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, wrapping up hour number one. Pittsburgh head coach Pat Narduzzi is an institution, Ramona.
Yeah, he is.
How much time did you spend around him when you were up there?
Not a ton. Saw him in passing, but not a ton like that. They tried to separate us from them all the time, except with one unique individual. You know who that one unique individual was?
Who's that?
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Fair enough. Native son of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Aaron pretty much had a different pathway around us. Coach T knew that early, how special he was. I didn't know who he was at the time.
Really?
I had no idea.
Who's this little guy?
But to me, disrespectfully, I say this because that's the way I was acting. I was like, Pitt got a top player? Get the hell out of there. Like, I just didn't do it. And then also, too, I wasn't diving into college football like that because we were in purgatory of volunteer football at the time, too. So
fair enough.
My love affair was only hate on weekends, okay?
Well, Pat Narduzzi, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Panthers, has a big game this weekend. They host Notre Dame. Again, we have laid this out over the course of this week. If you are a Vanderbilt fan, this is one that is critical for you to have in order to make the college football playoff at 10-2. A Pitt win over Notre Dame, and you take a huge step forward to the college football playoff. This was Pat Narduzzi, though, asked, do you feel like the Notre Dame game is a must-win?
Do you feel like this is a must-win for this team when it comes to something?
Absolutely not. It is not an ACC game. I'm glad you brought that up. It's not an ACC game. I gladly get beat 103 or 110 to 10 in that game. They can put 100 up on us as long as we win the next two after that. But again, our focus is on Notre Dame and getting as many wins as we can.
What, Pat, buddy? What are we doing? What do you mean it's not a must-win game?
Hey, there's truth in jokes sometimes, man. That was good by him. I love that for him.
I don't like that.
You don't like it? Why is that, man?
Well, just how? It's a big game. You only get 12 of these.
Now he's also a fiery type of guy though too on game day. Like that will show up. I like how he's playing it down like this. It's the expectation of Notre Dame's supposed to win. If they come out, Pitt that is, and just friggin' throw everything in the kitchen sink at them and lose, it's still fine. But if they do that and win, it's just like, well, I told you it wasn't a must win. We were out here doing the stupidest plays we ever could have imagined.
Pitt, who also goes to Georgia Tech and hosts Miami, so they control their own destiny in the ACC.
I'm with Narduzzi on this one.
No, what do you mean it's not I mean, yeah, in terms of the playoff, it's not a must-win game, but why are we only viewing this sport in terms of the playoff? You get 12 Saturdays a year to play college football. Maybe it's because they're playing in an NFL stadium. The artist formerly known as Heinz Field feels a little bit more like Sundays where you got just meaningless weekends. Like, well, we could lose this one and another one, and we're going to be fine. And no, you don't get to go 10-6 or now 10-7 and make the playoff. I know that this is not a game with playoff implications for Pitt because the only way they've got to get in is by winning their next two games and winning an ACC championship game, by beating Georgia Tech, Miami, and then maybe SMU or Duke, because 4-loss Duke still has a pathway to the college football playoff right now, which is just insane that we live in that world. But come on, Pat. Give me some pageantry. Give me some excitement, man. We only get 12 of these. Come on.
What kind of message? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Hawk.
What kind of message does this send to your team? It's like a teacher being in one. It's like being a teacher in front of your class, and you're about to take a quiz, and it's like, it's okay, class. This is just a quiz. It's okay. Just prepare for the final. No, this is a bad message.
It's not.
You have to prepare every week for your team. You can't just go and say, you know what? It's okay if we lose by 100. We play Georgia Tech next week, and that's when it really matters. No, every game matters. Every Saturday matters. This gets me hot, and I didn't even play football.
To that point, Pat Narduzzi is 0-4 against Notre Dame at Pitt, and over the last two meetings, he almost has been outscored by 100. 103-10. Notre Dame has outscored Pittsburgh in the last two games.
I thought about taking them tomorrow in our picks Hell no. I'd probably take Notre Dame. Can we do an alternate spread?
Well, and this is kind of no.
Because I'm going to do
To
plus
answer your
100.
next question, no.
Minus
because,
100.
That is also one of those environments that is not, like the game's going to be a Pitt home game.
Yeah,
There's going to be a
yeah.
lot of Notre Dame fans there at 11 a.m.
There's a lot of Irish in Pittsburgh.
A lot of Notre Dame fans in Pittsburgh.
Yes, there's a ton. Like Pitt may have to go on solid count to be real with you. I'm waiting on Narduzzi.
Legitimately, yeah.
Like I think there's more against them than it is for them in that city of Pittsburgh. The culture of like the Irish people in general, like that's the Rooney's number one. Okay, and then on top of that, like there's a lot of people that don't go to Pitt there. There's a bigger Penn State presence there, I feel like. So Notre Dame coming over, that's a simple drive to them. I feel like it's college game day going up against him. I'm almost siding with him. And only because I know this. He probably looked whoever that reporter was asking him that question. It's like, of course this is. So because you asked me this, I'm going in the opposite direction. I like it. I'm going to be honest with you. Narduzzi saying that, I know that's not his message inside of the locker room. I like the sicko side of him right there.
He's taking his.
You know me, Will.
He's taking his players for a doozy there.
No,
Ha! Gotcha.
you're not even.
Not your best.
You're not even.
Not your best.
We're not even a dad yet. Okay.
So 5 ACC
preparing.
teams enter
Every day
week
we're
12
preparing.
with one conference loss: Pitt, SMU, Georgia Tech, Duke, and Virginia. Per ACC tiebreaker policy, if 3 or more teams are tied with the highest percentage of wins, or 2 or more teams are tied with the second highest percentage of wins in league play, the following tiebreaker procedure would go into effect. For a 2-team tie head-to-head competition between the two tied teams, win percentage against common opponents, which makes this game matter a little bit, win percentage against common opponents based upon their order of finish, combined win percentage of conference opponents, the tied team with the highest ranking by the team rating score metric provided by Sport Source Analytics, and then the final tiebreaker would be a draw by the commissioner, which hopefully we don't get to that point. That would be a draw if you wanted to have people come out and watch that. But this game still does kind of matter for Pitt in terms of the tiebreakers, because the ranking could end up being the tiebreaker at the end of the day.
I just like how he's playing it down more than anything.
You're a sicko. You love these kinds of things.
And it's because, again, the thing about it is Marcus Freeman isn't going to take it lightly. He's the guy that's just
of course
pushing
not.
that university over the top.
It is a must-win for them, for sure.
It is. Most definitely a must-win for them. But I do think he's mocking the conversation around what the college football playoffs are. Like, his need to win it is definitely through the ACC only, in my personal opinion.
Commenter on YouTube says, the whole city should be supporting Vanderbilt right now.
What? Cut me.
A lot of SEC fan bases in Nashville that are preying on Diego Pavia's downfall.
Yeah,
There's
seriously.
no doubt about that, including many Auburn fans who live in the city who were in First Bank Stadium on Saturday. Coming up, the Titans are going to have to wait a while to see a star player in the AFC South. Will hit the NFL headlines. Plus, there is a new starting quarterback that was just named in the last 10 minutes in the National Football League. You'll hear that next.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today.
Swing still looks just okay, though.
It is 7 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, a grand jury has reportedly indicted cornerback Legarius Sneed in Dallas County, Texas, for the failure to report a felony where a reasonable person would have believed serious bodily harm or death may have resulted. It's a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by a maximum of 1 year in jail, a $4,000 fine, or both. In NFL news this morning, Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka makes his first move since taking over in New York, announcing that Jameis Winston will be the backup quarterback and Russell Wilson will be QB3. Rookie starter Jackson Dart is currently in concussion protocol, and Winston would get to start Sunday against the Green Bay Packers if Dart is unable to go. Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter will miss the remainder of the season after undergoing successful knee surgery to repair an LCL injury in his right knee yesterday. And in college football, the playoff rankings were released last night. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Georgia remain as the top 5 teams. And then it goes as follows: Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Miami, and South Florida. They round out the 12-team bracket. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 of your Wednesday morning. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee, a 104.5 The Zone, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. They'll get you fed. They will get you caffeinated. They will get you on your way. In the middle of your week, amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. He's Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. Travis Hunter will miss the remainder of the season after undergoing surgery on his right knee on Tuesday. He had his LCL repaired in Dallas by Dr. Dan Cooper and Dr. Kevin Kaplan, the Jags head team physician. He was placed on IR on October 31st, one day after he suffered a non-contact injury. Ramon, the Titans will go Travis Hunter's rookie season without seeing the Jacksonville two-way star.
It's not a bad thing. That's what I'll just say right now with what he presents, or at least the threat that he gives the rest of the offense when it comes down to Brian Thomas Jr., who also missed last week also. Travis is one of those situations where you love to see him, but is this team fit to cover him and Brian Thomas Jr. and Jacoby Meyer all at the same time? Probably not. Now, again, the show of him being on the field, I'm sure a lot of fans will want to come see him up close and personal too, though. It's a unique situation. I think it was non-contact also is how he went down. It's just smart management of where they are. The bigger issue, I guess, that they have, too, is him being out. What does it do for Trevor Lawrence and the rest of the offense is his ability to make plays?
I think we saw over the weekend what it did. They were held to 213 total yards to the Houston Texans. I mean, the only reason the Jags were in that game was because of the 2 fumbles that the Texans had deep in their own territory.
That's insane.
And they still lost.
Yeah, they did. I'm talking about a comeback loss, too. Yeah. They went up pretty good. And my guy, Davis Mills, man.
29-10. Yeah. So Travis Hunter's last game was his best game. He caught 8 passes for 104 in his first touchdown in a 35-7 loss to the LA Rams in London in Week 7. His rookie season ends with 28 catches for 298 yards and a touchdown. On defense, he had 15 tackles with 3 pass breakups, played 67% of the team's offensive snaps, 36% of Jacksonville's defensive snaps. Do we have enough football that he played, Ramon, for us to really judge his rookie season, or does he get an incomplete grade from you?
I think we've had enough. Here's the other thing, too. This being his rookie year, one thing that's super unique about that first year is you got 365 days of nonstop work in action. Him having a non-contact injury like that to his LCL, I think is what it was reported as.
Yes.
That's probably wear and tear. It's probably just a lot of movement. That's probably a lot of, not necessarily grinding on him, but there needs to be a point, though, Will, to where they find balance in what his workload moving forward, too, and this may be the first step in it. I think it's smart. They've seen enough. They know he can make plays for him. I'd almost say this, too. You say he's got 3 pass breakups on defense. They got to find a plan where it's not just him doing everything on the field. Now, again, the only reason I say this, I don't know if we've seen this on an offensive and defensive side of the football, right? Or guys are playing both of them. Like, you got wide receivers that are all pro kick returners and punt returns and stuff like this. This is just a different animal to me. In today's world of the NFL, I think it's easier for him and them to make him a wide receiver primarily than it is to focus on the defensive side of things, too.
Better for their quarterback, too, who needs weapons.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence who is not able to make lesser-known commodities household names. I think we're getting our answer on Trevor.
We are.
He is good enough to win you football games if you give him a lot of resources and a lot of guys around him. That's going to get more challenging as his salary cap number continues to go up. And James Gladstone, the GM, and head coach Liam Cohen are going to have to make a difficult decision on whether or not they want their own guy at quarterback or whether or not they feel like they can win with Trevor. But Trevor will have to do a lot this season to make Brian Thomas Jr., whenever he comes back, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, and I think it's Brenton Strange.
Yeah, they're tight end.
Without Evan Ingram there, and now that he's in Denver. I expected more. I expected more from Trevor Lawrence. I expected more from this Liam Cohen offense, considering how many other quarterbacks he had fixed in his college and NFL coaching tenures at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at the University of Kentucky with a guy named Will Levis, who was never better than when he was with Liam Cohen his junior season there. So I think as far as Travis Hunter's concerned, I think it's a little harsh to say that we saw enough of him this season to really judge his rookie year. Because if you think that is the case, Ramon, and you think that he played enough for us to really kind of grade how he did, like 28 catches for 298 and only 3 pass breakups, like I'm not blown away.
But here's the other side of it, though, too. They have a 1. I don't think Travis Hunter is going to be a 1. Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr.
And with the season he's had this year, I think he's played himself out of that.
Think about what he was last year. And also, you got to add to the fact, too, that their offensive line has reshaped itself more this offseason with guys leaving and the commitment to that side of it, too. They have a little bit more of a running game that plays a little bit of a part, too. I'm not going to disparage Brian Thomas Jr.
He's got to catch the football. People in Jacksonville are disparaging him. They're kind of done with him.
They're done.
No, not me. I'm just saying, he's kind of taken a pretty big step back this year.
Okay, so does one work hand in hand then with the quarterback play?
That's what I'm saying.
So it seems to me then that the guy that just got the new contract, then Trevor Lawrence, is the one that seems to be the issue in this one. Then this year, if it's his step back that he's taking.
Last season, Brian Thomas Jr., Pro Bowler, 87 catches, 1,200 yards. 30 catches for 420 through 8 games. He has 1 touchdown. He had 10 last year.
Now, offensive coordinator change, head coaching change.
Sure, but you have a better one than you did last year.
Well, clearly there's a step back into the idea of, is it Liam Cohen? Is it his first time being in this position as a head coach? Yes, the system that they're playing.
Sure.
And also, are they trying to incorporate Travis Hunter more so because of him being the Heisman winner coming in, top draft pick?
Maybe, but I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. still has 60 targets. He's only caught half of them. Now, is that a Trevor problem again, or is that a him problem? When I watch Jags football, I see him making, I mean, 1 of 32. When I watch Jags football, I see him not coming down with a lot of balls that he could come down with.
Okay. Now, that's a him problem.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, his catch percentage last season was 65% with the same quarterback. This year, it's 50%.
Nope. So last
9.6 yards per target last year, 7 yards per target this year. It's a major drop-off.
Now, of course, the incorporation of Parker Washington, and like I said, Travis Hunter, are they taking away from that too as far as the scenarios that they're being put in, the wins and losses that they've had this year also? Does that incorporate? You also now have made him a primary wide receiver. So as far as Brian Thomas Jr. goes, who's covering him that probably just let him just go by the wayside last year too?
Sure. Again, the original conversation about Travis Hunter, he has given more validation to my concerns about him this year, Ramon.
As far as
Travis Hunter, in that he is a jack of all trades and master of none. The value of him playing both positions and being pretty good at both of them, I don't know if he's elite at either one at the NFL level.
Just so if you took him away from practicing and playing DB, you just think he's an okay wide receiver?
Right, but
I'm just asking.
Maybe. That's not what I'm saying. But with the cards that he has been given to play, with the strategy of you are playing both sides.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even dealing with the hypothetical. I'm simply looking at who he is right now as a two-way football player in the National Football League. I think they made a bad move giving up the draft capital they did to get a guy who made this level of an impact. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overreacting to one season. Maybe he ends up being a lockdown corner and a number 1 or number 1B or 2 wide receiver. Maybe there's value in that, and you get 2 positions for the price of 1. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But he has given that. My only point is he has given more validation to my concern about him. It's going to be hard to stay healthy. There's going to be a lot of wear and tear.
Facts.
Playing both sides of the ball, and he's got to be a master of something and be an elite player to recuperate the value that they gave up in that trade to move up and go get him.
I agree with you there. Absolutely.
That's all
now,
I'm saying.
It's twofold in the way I took it. I've always said I think he should pick one. And offensive I think is his best route to being successful.
And at that point, sure. But again, is that worth giving up a future first-round pick to go? Exactly.
Yeah, no. Not
That's
for a
all
wide
I'm saying.
receiver.
Because when you made that move, you made a move to go get the two-way player.
You went to go get a generational guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did.
So I'm with you on that one. My stance on saying have we seen enough is because of his ability to play wide receiver in the NFL. I've seen him break out of pass. I mean, I've seen him break out of tackles, be quick with the ball in his hand. And my stance is this. If they're going to let him play both ways, it needs to be about 75-25 offense or 90-10. Use him situationally more than anything. Agreed. I think there's more for them considering they paid their franchise quarterback. It's more advantageous for them to use him in that way. And the reason I say I've seen enough is now Liam Cohen can craft plans this next offseason into how he wants his offense to look with them.
You just open yourself up to so much criticism as an organization if you get that balance wrong in both directions, because now you have a hurt Travis Hunter who has had to practice on both sides quite a bit and played, about 2/3 on offense and 1/3 on defense. Mm-hmm. But the other hypothetical will also always be true of a Travis Hunter two-way player team. If you have a big explosive play given up that loses you a football game on defense, and you've got Travis Hunter with his helmet in his hand watching it on the sideline, and your number 3 corner gave up a big explosive play, on Monday morning, Jacksonville Sports Talk Radio is going to be saying like, oh, well, why wasn't Travis on the field? He wouldn't have. But then if he gets hurt playing defense, and then your offense can't go on a game-winning drive late, or your offense, a guy drops the football, De'Ami Brown is out there instead of Travis Hunter. Parker Washington can't make a play. It's, if you hadn't put Travis Hunter out there on defense, maybe he would have. And then all of a sudden you're opening yourself up to a lot of criticism. Like, again, you don't make moves in the NFL just because you're going to get criticized for it one way or another. Like, that's just a part of it. But he is such a unique player, and he is so unique to the Monday morning quarterbacks that are always going to find a way to swing that pendulum one way or another. I just think the move they made up to get him was insane. I still do. I'm glad they did it as a Titans fan. But again, the Jags traded 4 picks, including a first-rounder in this upcoming NFL draft, to Cleveland to move up 3 spots to select Travis Hunter second overall. The Jags also gave the Browns the number 5 pick, a second-round pick, and a 4th-rounder last year. They got back 4th and 6th-round picks in last year's draft as well.
Lord.
We'll see. If they do want to move on from Trevor Lawrence, it just got a lot harder to do so because of the Travis Hunter trade. So you better be, again, it's the same thing we said about Sauce Gardner. We'll be consistent on it and keep the same energy on 2 division rivals. If you're going to make a deal like that, you better be very confident in your ability to develop the quarterback you have, because it just got a lot harder to get a new one if you feel like you need to.
Mike Sando's already written about this. As far as the Travis Hunter trade, he's got his very early, but the Jaguars Travis Hunter trade looks misguided so far.
It looked misguided the day they made it.
Ooh.
There was a really high bar that they set in that trade price for Travis Hunter to meet, and he did not come close to meeting it this year. Now, you do not make a determination on a trade or a player in the NFL after one season. I get it. But in this critical checkpoint for a guy whose season is over, even when he was healthy, not for that price. Good football player, not for that price of that trade. 615.
Real quick, compared to other wideouts, Emeka Egbuka, who we see is going to be a name in this league, he's already got 527. And Ted McMillan, who I was right on, is also having a good season so far, too, as a rookie. Yeah. He's got 413 on the season.
Let's address this one comment on YouTube that says, how can you have those concerns for Travis Hunter but make excuses for Cam Ward? Who said we don't have concerns about Cam Ward?
Oh, you listen to us.
If you've listened to this radio show for 5 minutes, you know that we have concerns about Cam Ward. But all we're saying is what we're saying about Travis Hunter. You don't give up on it. You don't give up on the player. Travis Hunter also gets some excuses that it's his rookie season and that they've got to find that balance. Here's the difference. The Titans didn't give up a future first-round pick to go get Cam Ward.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
I hadn't seen it yet, but that's just, we've had that hard conversation. We had that conversation yesterday about Cam.
And quarterbacks also get time to develop. Travis Hunter will also get time to develop. But the trade that they made, and with the plan they have in place for him, I'm skeptical.
They got to make a decision which side of the ball he's going to play. Yeah. I know the two-way thing is cool.
Right.
It's great for PR. I don't think that's doable unless you're playing special teams at a high rate.
Yeah, we've still got concerns over Cam Ward. Don't you worry. If you don't, then you're lying to yourself.
Trust me, I got called a hater yesterday because of my take. Yeah, we've got those takes on Cam, too.
Well, let's talk about Cam coming up. How different can the Titans offense become after the bye week? How do you build a scheme, or how realistic is it to rebuild the Titans offensive scheme for their rookie quarterback, Cam Ward? That's next.
Let's talk about your hair. If you're losing it and desire to have it back, then Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put your hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated doctors, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it grows for life. So go ahead and schedule your free consultation now at 629-348-HAIR. If you qualify, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair has tens of thousands of lives, have changed tens of thousands of lives, and they are the team I personally recommend. So don't wait. Check out the befores and afters online for yourself. Their number is 629-348-HAIR or advancedhair.com. Man, that's the website, advancedhair.com. And make sure you tell them Ramon sent you.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. Do you have a plumbing issue at home? Maybe you just thought about it, that leaky faucet, that it's been on your list. I just reminded you that you need to get it fixed. Maybe it's a clogged drain or that water heater that has gone cold, which this time of year is something that you do not want to mess with. Well, the plumbing professionals at Lee Company, they have your back. Available 24/7 year-round, Lee Company's licensed technicians can save you time, money, and can save you all the stresses that come with an ill-timed plumbing issue. So contact their award-winning team today at leecompany.com. Make sure you got your house in tip-top shape. If you've got family, friends coming over during the holiday season, you want to make sure everything is working the way that it's supposed to. Lee Company has over 80 years of experience, trusted since 1944, open 24/7, 365. They can get out there and help you at a moment's notice. Contact the award-winning team at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramona Will 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. 615-737-1045. Titans and Texans this weekend in Nissan Stadium. Rhett Bryan joins us at 9 a.m. to break it down in studio, as he always is on Wednesday mornings. Ramona, how different can the Titans offense look after the bye week? When was there ever a season in your 11-year NFL career when you needed to make changes and adjustments were made in the bye week? What's that balance in the NFL between time off in a calendar and in a grind that doesn't give you a lot of time off, and coaches coming back from the bye week saying, all right, we're making some changes?
It was, I'm pulling up the record right now. It was 2013.
Okay.
2013, we started the season off 0-4.
Okay.
Fourth week of the season, we go to London and lose to the Minnesota Vikings, and we're just getting bashed. What happened going into that one, though, is we ended up getting Le'Veon Bell back, and that loss to the Minnesota Vikings in London became more of a premier back, though, too. So on that bye week, we had a chance to fly back from overseas, have a little bit of a reset, and we said, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to run the football, and we're going to run it well, and we're going to focus in on it, and we're also going to get the football out quick. Those are the things that we ended up doing to change stuff around. What we did was said, you jokers up front going to have to grow up, and they were talking about us. We got a guy that we think is really good. We're going to feature him, and it's going to complement everybody and everything that we do offensively. So we got simple. That, like, you ask how much different can it look? It can look more simple, more bland, because then you're asking me as a professional football player, do the thing that you do well. And what is that? That's run block left, run block right. We're going to pass pro quick, get the ball out, give it to our wide receivers so they can go make plays. That's what happens. We ended up going 0-4 to start the season off and ended up 8-8. That's kind of the things that you do in those moments right there. Now, our first win was against the New York Jets on the road. Then we ended up stacking another win, too. I'm looking at it right now on Baltimore. And that's because we went more simple in the things that they were asking us to do. I'm looking at just the box score right now, and I do remember it being vividly in how we ended up going about it. We won 19-16 to Baltimore. The balance that we had, and this is what I'm speaking of, we had 141 yards rushing, and 145 passing to win at Baltimore 19-16. It ain't got to be pretty, but you got to get a method. And right now, that's what I feel like this offense is looking for. What is a method that works for you? And it goes to being simple. If I believe in a product, and that's the issue that I'm having right now with the big boys up front. I think I was listening to 3HL a little bit while I was in the car yesterday. They were speaking about, like, the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. Savage will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking to myself, like, this isn't a throwaway group. The big boys up front, from left to right, from Dan Moore all the way over to J.C. Latham. And J.C.'s got more time to get healthy right now if the hip did have a little bit more of a twinge, right, in his hip. They're expected to play at a certain level. And for whatever reason, they're just getting beat up.
We went into the season saying that the Titans might have the best offensive line in the AFC South.
They should.
And there was reason to believe that was on the table.
Especially with Laramie Tunsil gone.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, that was the other side of it. Jacksonville has a reworked offensive line.
And 2 new members of the Colts offensive line.
And Houston.
And they've been great.
Right. And yes, to your point. So how much different can it look? It could look more simple. And simple mean completions and 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 first down.
Quick game.
That sounds so stupid to say.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just where it has to go for them, because the complex things, you don't have time to protect for them. You trust in the football in Cam's hand while he's continually working on his mechanics and his brain and his processing right now. So why would I come out and get exotic is the question that I would ask Bo Hardigree and Nick Holtz moving forward.
It's a good point, and if it feels like we've had this conversation before, it's because we have, and there have been different checkpoints along the season where we've asked, what changes can they make? So I was curious out of the bye how reasonable that was, and 2, again, it goes back to the larger discussion on Cam. For a quarterback whose best moments are in letting it fly, in running around and improvising, how do you take the good with the bad that those opportunities and those plays create? Cam Ward's best moments are when he runs around and chucks it deep. Cam Ward's worst moments are also when he runs around and chucks it deep at times, or can't chuck it deep because he's run around so much he's gone 10 yards backwards and now he's getting sacked. Do you have to earn the right to play that way by playing more simply and taking what the defense gives you and checking it down more? Well, in that world as well, you're putting yourself in 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4 versus 3rd and 8, 9, 10, 11 plus. Yeah, the Titans still aren't even converting on the 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. Some of the numbers behind this that I couldn't believe reading this yesterday from Nick Suss of the Tennessean. Through 9 games, the Titans have converted, like we talked about, 28% of their offensive third downs. That is not only the worst rate in the NFL. Across the last 10 seasons, only the 2023 New York Jets have finished with a worse third down conversion rate. Since 2000, the Titans' 28.45% third down conversion rate is the 13th worst that the league has seen. That is in 25 years. I was 3 in 2000. The Titans converted 40% of their third downs, their best performance this year. The league average is 39.4%. So in the best game the Titans have played all season, in terms of converting third downs, they just got to a little bit above league average. So you have to start there in terms of the adjustments, in terms of the points of emphasis. This team is just going to have to convert more third downs in order to have any semblance of improvement, any semblance of changes. Where has this scheme let Cam and this offense down, Ramon? When you look at through the bye week, are players being miscast? Are they asking Cam to do things he's not comfortable with? Is this offensive line being set up for success? What isn't working schematically that is under Mike McCoy, Bo Hardigree, and Nick Holtz's control that you feel like can be tweaked at this time of the season?
So first, I'm gonna give the ones. I'm gonna give just a blanket, layout. Let's throw injuries in there first. You've dealt with those offensively.
You have.
Right? JC's had some.
JC Latham, a right tackle.
Kevin
Zeitler, right guard, only missed one game.
But still, like you've had some inconsistencies of the parts being in place.
Calvin Ridley has been out since Vegas.
Yes. So where have they let this offense down? In my personal opinion, it goes back to too much trust in Cam too early. And the only reason I bring that up is we were having conversations last year about Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Were we not about Bo Nix is only completing about 130 yards a game, whatever it was. Like it was something small.
He was being asked to do very little.
He was being asked to do very little.
A lot of screen passes, a lot of checkdowns.
And for whatever fascination or thought that Coach Brian Callahan, because I'm going to put it on him. This was his pick. This was his guy, right? We can do that. We can say, between Chad Borgonzi and Coach Brian Callahan, this is the guy.
I don't know if we can definitively say that if he was given truth serum, Brian Callahan's top choice this offseason was taking Cam Ward. I don't know that for sure. It was the front office's guy for sure.
It was the front office's.
I think if you would have given him his choice, Brian Callahan might have tried to sign Sam Darnold to a big contract.
You think so?
I mean, honestly, I can tell you with a decent level of confidence that I think Matthew Stafford would have been Brian Callahan's top choice if he had become available because they'd worked together and he didn't become available.
Now we got a whole different other conversation going at this point. But
for sure.
Let's just act like as a head coach, this is your baby that you're going to ride your success to as a head coach.
It was the guy that he was tasked and hired to develop. No doubt.
So my point of it is this. Whatever fascination it was into what Cam Ward and the attitude that he presented in leadership on the team, I think that you almost bought too much into it. And that's why I think the failure happened. Where you, to your point, you want Cam rolling out. You want him with the football in his hand for extended plays, looking down the field, looking for the big-time play. That's not the role of a rookie quarterback when you don't have the team to support that, especially when you ended up seeing that the offensive line can hold up too. Mm-hmm. That's where I think the failure started, was with Cam and also with the offensive line lack of production and their ability to impose their will on teams. It's baffling to me to see what I thought training camp was against this defensive line that the Titans have. And then that was a good one-on-one battle. There was some days where Jeff got frustrated. Was it not?
Back and forth, yeah.
The back and forth was there.
There was reason for us to believe this offensive line was going to get back to at least league average.
Those two flagrant mistakes in belief, I think, is why this team is where it is right now. I can't go much further. Tony's doing what you're asking him to do. The wide receivers have stepped up, especially the rookies. Like Calvin been injured. Yes, that's trash. The drops that they've had, yeah, okay, I get that one too. But again, why are we asking Cam to throw this much? Why is the ball this much in his hand?
Losing a lot.
So the root of it all starts again. If you had a very supportive run game, then a lot of these asks of Cam would be, I think, a little bit easier too.
Well, I mean, if you had any number of things, if you had a more experienced play caller, if you had a more experienced head coach, if you had a better defense that could give him more short fields, like pretty much the only thing that Cam's got to give him short fields and be able to have success is a special teams unit that is sometimes giving him good field position. So here's my other question for you. Can they move the pocket more with him? Because we've seen at times them have success when he rolls out and can get on the run, and you're simplifying the read a little bit of an underneath tight end, a deep crosser, or just, hey, I'm just going to finish this and run it myself. We've also seen at times the offensive line not being on the same page, and you're rolling out straight into a free rusher, and a play has no chance. Like, can they slide the pocket and move him out in a way that still protects him and allows him to play, to your point, a bit more simply?
Nope. I see a comment also.
That's why I asked.
Big that says more play. No. Because in order to execute
finish what you're saying, more play action.
More play action is what big. Yeah, what the comment on YouTube said. No, this is why. In order for you to trick me, there's got to be something that's working. The run game's not working.
There's no threat of the run game being explosive. Yeah.
Think about you were in the stadium too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
The flea flicker play.
Linebackers didn't move.
Can I put that on the board as the dumbest call that we've seen in a while?
Yeah. To your point, like the adjustment does not need to be more trick plays.
No. Like, the simple things aren't working. So big, I'm sorry in the YouTube chat, but no more play action. You got to establish one thing or the other. Like, I'm a huge proponent of not fighting City Hall when it comes down to running plays. Like, if you can't do that, at least put Tony Pollard in. Well, we tried Wildcat too. Damn. Wildcat hadn't
you
even
stopped
worked.
yourself before saying put Tony Pollard in Wildcat. I know.
So the root of the problem is either lack of preparation in training camp, which we didn't see, the false belief that all the things that you were doing are going to work, so you didn't self-scout yourself, or the fact that guys are underperforming. Like right now, it sounds very treacherous springing this stuff up, but like the mindset that nothing's working for you, if we did a poll and just simply asked or question, what has worked positively for this offense this year? At least on defense.
DK.
But as a rookie, it's still surprising. Like, we'll let him have that. Like, Jeff's the only thing that's worked. Jeff and Cedric.
There's no one. There's not 100%. There's nothing this offense has been able to hang its hat on to the equivalent of what Jeffrey Simmons is doing on defense. Because this offense doesn't have their own Jeffrey Simmons. Not even close.
I love the pass that Cam had to Chimray for the touchdown. Wasn't it the first
against
one?
New England. Yeah.
Against New England?
Mm-hmm.
But was more flagrant about that play working was the breakdown of it. Yeah, we worked on that for 3 weeks. Will, that is a weekly concept play.
Yeah.
That's not, you don't like a flea flicker. You work on that for 3 weeks because, hey, we're setting this team up because we know, like the scouts look forward and break down tape on that one. That play for 3 weeks, I'm sorry. I'm glad it happened and I'm glad they executed it, but that ain't a 3-week play.
So here's what I'm hearing you saying to answer our question, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. You guys in Pittsburgh in 2013, when you started 0-4, had the luxury of simplifying the offense and having more success.
Yeah.
The Titans don't have that luxury because they can't do the simple things well enough.
Facts.
That's where they're at.
That's what it kind of boils down to. And I'll be quite honest with you, the first 2 weeks of the year for the Titans, I thought they were on point to kind of take those steps. And for whatever reason, they got knocked off. You got to think the first game they ended up losing a tight one in Denver. Offense couldn't get anything going. Turnovers happened. Bad play calling and decision making by Brian Callahan.
For sure.
If my memory serves me correctly, the Titans were leading the Rams the first half of the game.
There were times in those first 2 weeks where you felt like they weren't totally overmatched. They were having self-inflicted mistakes to lose games. It was that second half against the Rams where you finally felt like, oh, they're just overmatched.
Yeah.
And then as they've been more injured, they've been really overmatched. Without Jeffrey Simmons, without Legarius Sneed, without Calvin Ridley, go down the list. Without J.C. Latham for a time. I think you are right, though, that there is reason for belief in the National Football League that out of a bye week, and there's reason to believe in college football out of a bye week, especially with a new coach in here. I know it's an interim. That maybe there are adjustments and tweaks and changes that can be made to be a spark. And maybe there is a spark, but is there a fire?
Right.
Is there enough of a spark to light up a fire for even just 3 quarters or 4 quarters and be able to win a football game? Gonna have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
At this point with this Titans team. Because simply put, if you can't block 4 with 5, if you can't establish any consistent run game to set up play action, you have to do something well that the defense has to respect before you can take advantage of that thing and really open up the playbook. This offense is still trying to find what it does well and what it can hang its hat on to establish any sort of identity. 615-737-1045. What hope do you have that the Titans offense can make adjustments, that the Titans offense can get better out of the bye week? We can take your calls, 615-737-1045. I saw Ron Slay was loitering in the F&M Bank chat. Said, boy, we've got a hard job, LOL, on our ability to talk Titans out of a bye week. Look, we're always going to talk Titans. Slay knows that, obviously. I love how he gives us a hard time of like, man. And every time I ask him when he's on with us, like, we're talking Titans, he just drops his head.
He does. It makes him sad. I think it make a lot of people sad in this market.
That's
speaking
fair.
about that, because the conversation we have to have about the ifs and the buts, I don't think most teams are having them like this.
No. Coming up, we'll talk about that. Get your reaction. Plus, we mentioned it at the beginning of the hour. There is a new starting quarterback in the NFL. We'll talk about next.
Synergex and Low T Center are the original MVPs of testosterone replacement therapy, or TRTs, they like to call it also. They have been changing the lives of men across the country for over a decade. Since starting, a lot of other players have entered the field, but Synergex and Low T Center, they are the pros, providing you with the most medically driven, results focused and winning approach to restoring the quality of patient lives through hormone care. Just talk to one of the patients. They will tell you TRT with Synergex and Low T Center has significantly changed their lives. So don't wait, people. Get into the center, get your test, and you'll be wishing you did it sooner. And I told you right. I said, don't wait, people, because they also service women, man. It also has the same benefit for women as well. And that's testosterone replacement therapy, as they like to call it, TRT. Women experience many of the same symptoms of men with low testosterone. Listen to me. Tiredness, no energy, mood swings, low libido. So women, go ahead, go in and get your testing as well. Treatment includes testosterone injections or even hormone pellets for women. At Synergex and Low T Center, they have a long history of helping women find their hormonal balance that brings back the balance to your day-to-day life. Again, we always worry about the inside, the outside of what we have going on. Worry about the inside a little bit too. Go ahead, restore your energy like a pro, and get on with the rest of your life. You can book your appointment now at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com. You'll be wishing you did it sooner.
Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, continues in hour 2. Coming up, the latest reporting around Legarius Sneed. An update on his legal trouble yesterday that we'll tell you about coming up to begin hour number 3. 615-737-1045 is our number. Jameis Winston is likely going to start a football game if Jackson Dart can't go for the New York Football Giants. That report coming this morning. Pat Leonard had it, longtime Giants reporter, that if Jackson Dart is unavailable this upcoming weekend with a concussion, in steps famous Jameis. It was criminal of them to put Russell Wilson in that game in Chicago and not let Jameis play in the snow on Sunday.
Speaking of that, snow already, though, that's crazy. But that's Chicago. But to your point,
I love it when I'm not in it.
Yeah,
love watching it when it's on my television and not in my or outside my window.
Good luck in Cleveland, sir.
Thank you. December the 7th is right around the corner.
Yeah,
also, that will be the first time I have done sidelines outside since week 1.
Is it really?
Denver, week 1 is the only game I've done in an outdoor stadium for Titans Radio this year.
You've lucked up.
Yes.
Yeah, you've lucked up big time.
The next 3 are all outdoors with that one with Jacksonville and San Francisco, but oh no, I have electric socks.
You got electric socks?
I have electric socks, an electric vest, and an electric hat that I panic bought last year before I went to Columbus.
Hope it doesn't rain.
Well,
that'll be shocking.
I hope it doesn't rain too, but that's not going to affect the electric vest. I'll be fine.
I would say the old me would have called you soft. The new me fully understands that. Okay, so you know.
I'd rather die warm than live cold. Okay.
Better get your life together because hell is real hot.
Hallelujah.
Okay, moving forward. Jameis being the starter. This is what Jameis is, though, too. He's a guy that you can call upon and more like rally the fans, too. There's going to be a lot of people that want to come and see him do something. Now, Russell Wilson, I don't know what he is. In Pittsburgh, I thought he had support. Did not work out either for him. The way his free agency went, yes, Russ is going to be an amazing analyst. Do you hear me on TV? If he doesn't have an analyst job or a Renaissance man or whatever he wants to be moving forward, then it's criminal on him. He is going to be fine, man, when it comes down to his retirement. I'm not sure. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer either, but it's going to be fascinating to watch his media career. If you have other quarterbacks in that world, if Mark Sanchez could get the job, had a job, then I definitely want to hear Russell Wilson. Don't laugh. That man attacked a 60-plus-year-old man. He deserves all the jokes coming his way. I'm just saying.
I'm not laughing at what he did. I'm laughing at the way you quickly just said, if Mark Sanchez can get a job, had a job, and you just moved on like nothing happened.
Yeah, somebody, I think it was his brother this past weekend that released a statement as Mark is healing up. I bet like hell he is healing up. And all the PTSD he got, man, allegedly. So I can keep ourselves on the radio here, Will.
Jay is in Spring Hill up next. Hey, Jay.
Hey, good morning, team.
Good
morning.
Share with the audience all the people that are experiencing the frustration with the YouTube, Disney, ESPN stuff. I've been guilty of paying $5 through Sling to watch a weekend of football, but and a Monday nighter. But anyway, yesterday I received the email from YouTube to get your credit, and it's kind of weird. And I don't walk everybody through it, but you can't do it through your TV. You have to do it through your phone or your tablet, and hit the word update that they send to you, and it takes you to the screen because there is no option on any other resource. So anyway, just want to share that, and it says it will impact your next billing schedule. So I know everybody's frustrated with that. I am as well.
Jay, how far are you from just giving up and having a different provider?
My wife loves YouTube TV.
Sure.
She loves the access to it, and she's happy. Everybody's happy, and we've had it for about 2 years, ever since the last debacle from like 2 years ago, where ESPN went away like on Labor Day weekend, and she was just fed up with. We had a little Spectrum at the time.
Okay.
Charter, and up to now, it's been bulletproof for us.
Right. Same. I'm with you. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate the call.
I don't like having to, I'm not sure if I'm ready to tell this story just yet. I'm not. Because I'm with our guy, I enjoy YouTube TV. It gives me the flexibility of watching what I want to on any tablet, any phone.
I enjoy it too.
Any TV.
I've got it myself.
I got separate accounts on
good
there.
Product.
I love the multi-view. I love that NFL tickets available to it also. It's got everything I want, except right now the bull crapping with this ESPN thing.
There are no winners in situations like this.
It's not, and I'm real close at looking at a different provider. If I can find a provider that has the same setup as YouTube TV multi-screen view and everything, because I'm not buying 4 TVs to put in my living room or nothing like that. And I need the accessibility on my phone too.
Right.
Am I bad for giving up and going to Hulu Live
You did?
TV? I did.
How is it?
It's a whole different
fine.
setup.
It's fine. It's a
not
YouTube
bad.
TV though.
No.
Well, you don't have the multi-screen, but you have all the other channels. I mean,
YouTube TV, for what you pay for it, is the best product, in my opinion.
Right.
You just have to be willing to be 30 seconds behind and have people with cable ruin things for you
Y'all know
after they happen.
I talked so much trash about it. I ain't ready to tell this story yet.
It is an ESPN problem more than it is a YouTube TV problem, but there are no winners in any of this. It's just the fact that ESPN, I think, is negotiating more in public than YouTube has to try to make themselves look better. Then they got Bob Iger on the Manning cast the other night, who says not a word about it, was not asked a single question
That's so dumb.
about the YouTube TV dispute. It's
so dumb.
yeah, it's beyond frustrating.
It is.
It is. Headlines when we come back, 615-737-1045, the latest legal update for Titans cornerback Legarius Sneed after this. Maybe you have been thinking about relocating, and when you walk around the neighborhood, when you drive and go on your morning commute, you're seeing the same for sale signs around. It's maybe putting you out of the market. Hey, you don't want to move because you're afraid of how long it's going to take to sell your home. Let me introduce you to my friend Bernie Gallerani. Will Boulding here for Bernie Gallerani Realty, who guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less. If you've been thinking about selling your home, Bernie is going to help you take that leap because he has the 30-day guarantee. He will let you out of the contract at any time. Bernie is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. If he doesn't sell your home in 30 days, he'll buy it from you. So head online to BernieGallerani.com. Start by knowing your home's true value. One of the great resources you get when you put Bernie on your team is that you're going to know what your home is really worth. You might be sitting on a gold mine and not even know it. Head online to BernieGallerani.com, or you can call Bernie at his personal cell phone, 615-428-2644. I could personally vouch for Bernie's eagerness to help you. He's got a passion for this area, for knowing Middle Tennessee as well. He's going to be the very best person to help you through this process. So check him out online at BernieGallerani.com or give him a call, 615-428-2644. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Will Bowling. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal, just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low, so act now. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
8:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, a grand jury has reportedly indicted cornerback Legarius Sneed in Dallas County, Texas, for the failure to report a felony where a reasonable person would have believed that serious bodily harm or death could have been the result. It's a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by a maximum of 1 year in jail, a $4,000 fine, or both. A trial date has not yet been set. And none of the NFL news this morning, Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka makes his first move since taking over in New York, announcing that Jameis Winston will be the backup quarterback. Russell Wilson will be quarterback number 3. Rookie starter Jackson Dart's in concussion protocol at the moment, and Winston would start Sunday against the Packers if Dart is unable to go. Also, Jaguars rookie Travis Hunter will miss the remainder of the season after undergoing knee surgery yesterday to repair an LCL injury in his right knee. And in college football, the playoff rankings were released last night. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia remain as the top 5 teams. Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Miami, and South Florida round out the 12-team bracket as it would stand today. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee. As Hour 3 begins, Brad Crawford of 247 talks college football with us in about 15 minutes. Rhett Bryan in an hour in studio. We'll preview Titans and Texans with us. And we take your phone calls throughout the morning at 615-737-1045. Evan and Bake Chat is open. We stream the program live for you on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. And as always, if you like us, then you like supporting our title sponsor of this program as well. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Scooters Coffee locations are open. They are ready to get you caffeinated and fed and on your way this morning. A grand jury in Dallas County, Texas yesterday indicted Titans cornerback Legarius Sneed for failure to report a felony where a reasonable person would have believed serious bodily harm or death may have resulted. Paul Gaharski, paulgaharski.com with the report. It is a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by a maximum of 1 year in jail, as you just heard Justin tell you, a $4,000 fine, or both. Now, this is an indictment. This is not a trial. This is also not a felony. I know that is confusing because the misdemeanor that he is being indicted upon is failure to report a felony. That in and of itself is a misdemeanor. So failure to report a felony is different than committing a felony yourself. The trial date has not been set yet. My understanding of this, and Paul Gaharski on Twitter explaining this context yesterday, is that the trial date not being set means that the Titans likely will not be able to settle Legarius Sneed's contract at the end of this season for less than what they would owe him currently. Meaning that there is not, with the clauses in that contract, the ability to lessen the cap money this upcoming offseason, because I don't think he will have gone to trial yet.
Yeah.
Now, there may be an opportunity after the trial happens and whatever either side of it dictates, you could get relief or settle that on the back end, perhaps, with the league and have some kind of legal cushion there to your salary cap situation. But the Titans said in a statement to Gaharski, they are aware of the legal matter with Sneed and have remained in contact with NFL security per league protocol and have no further comment during an ongoing investigation.
One thing you have to worry about is the league doing their due diligence on this. The failure to report a felony mean he was around it, didn't say anything, and he found himself in a pickle right here. So a misdemeanor, again, it's a matter of this being a big embarrassment. It also means that however they can, they will try to get some money back, is also what this is telling.
Takanze Warmek Williams, I may be butchering the pronunciation, who identifies himself as Sneed's personal assistant, faces a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Sneed is accused of witnessing Williams' actions. Williams and Sneed also face a civil suit where those people are seeking more than $1 million in compensatory damages, fees, and relief for infliction of bodily injury. The suit alleges that Sneed and Williams pulled up in a rented Lamborghini on December 6, 2024, shot multiple times at the plaintiff, who was sitting inside a Mercedes G-Wagon in the dealer lot in Carrollton, Texas, a suburb of Dallas.
So wait, they shooting at a parking lot, at a car lot, like a Benz parking lot at that. It's just not smart. I'm just gonna say that too. I'm reserved judgment on guilt or anything else moving forward, but these type of scenarios right here should not happen. Also, why they got to put in there a rented Lamborghini like Sneed can't pay for one? Regardless of the situation, it's messy. Guys got to be careful who they surround themselves with in these type of situations too. But it seems to me Sneed's got a good fall guy too, if allegedly he's involved.
Easton Freeze tweeted yesterday around noon, said, unrelated, though perhaps it is related, to Paul's reporting. Easton says, I do not expect Legarius Sneed to play another snap for the Tennessee Titans. I don't either at this point. Obviously, I'm not speaking on behalf of the team or anything. I'm speaking on my hunch. I have no insider knowledge there other than what has been reported, and common sense, Ramon, is that he's got another injury. He's back in IR. The legal situation being what it is, I think we've seen the end of the Legarius Sneed era in Tennessee.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the fan base will be appreciative of that, other than the fact that he walks away with a crap ton of money and no results of that contract and any return, any kind of way with what he's been done. Because I was thinking about this too, that Rams game, the second game of the season, first home opener. Or the home opener.
Made some plays.
He did, but it was also watching Devontae Adams also make plays on him that kind of stretched that game away.
By the fourth quarter, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
The inconsistencies of it, man. That's also the conversation of I was having this weekend. Let me pull back the curtain just a little bit.
Okay.
It was on this Steelers trip. It was myself, Chris Hokie, Vince Williams, Nate Washington. Louis Lips were the players. And we were speaking about the culture in Pittsburgh and stuff like that, too, just how they're giving up the run and how, that's not historically the case in Pittsburgh. Like, you're going to stop the run the same way Titans. Nobody runs on the Tennessee Titans is a thing, too. I'm correlating the two to make this a relevant conversation. And I was asking some of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, well, what changed? What happened? And I think it was Nate that said, Nate Washington was just like, well, this is the involvement of nobody's developing. Development of your team means a lot. That way you don't have to go searching for free agent players to Band-Aid or to keep your culture in place. This is why my stance has been, and I think this is where Gonzi's take moving forward too. You're going to have to build this up through the draft. Like we joke when we say this, but you should be rooting for the excitement of Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson. You should also be rooting for who else have to lose. You should be rooting for Baltimore so that draft pick turns into a fourth rounder. And I say that jokingly because the more you can grab your guys, if you have a trustworthy front office to draft and create a culture, that way you have the same lessons that are taught from 1 year to the next to the year to where 10 years down the line, even if you do bring in free agents, those guys fall in line. I never forget being inside of that locker room as a rookie in Pittsburgh and thinking to myself, we have to do this? And yes, the answer is yes. Immediately after weigh-ins, my rookie year, I had to jump in my 2002 Pontiac Bonneville with no money. Well, the vets ended up, here's $200. Go to Burger King and get us burgers. And then you come back. I don't care if it's almost up to curfew. You're going to go get that, and you're going to bring this back to us. And if you're late, you're late. We'll cover for you later. But that's what happens when you have a standard of working. Like, do you sign free agents? Yes. Should you be signing free agents to reset your team to make you better and have you win a Super Bowl? No. That starts inside of a locker room. And it ain't just the Titans that deal with this type of stuff. But the recent business of operating like this is also why you are where you are, too. That's why most should be rooting for Latham.
Right.
And others on this team.
And to that point, you were starting to see this locker room become more led by the young players who you are drafting and have just drafted.
Yeah.
When Jeffrey Simmons and Arden Key were both injured, Titans were led onto the field out of the locker room in Indy by J.C. Latham, Chimere Dike, and Cedric Gray. Now, that's not to say that leading a team out of the locker room means you're a leader, obviously. But I do think that is a symbol of what really is happening, because I am in that locker room and I am on that sideline, and I can tell you that the young guys have no choice but to start taking ownership of this thing and to start being the loudest voices. There's no other choice.
There's no other choice.
Because obviously they're the ones that are playing and starting and are being elevated into this. I think that is the beauty of the draft class that you just brought in. I think you have a lot of former captains. I think you have a lot of quote-unquote culture guys and locker room guys. You can't always live that way. Sometimes you do need a guy that maybe needs leading, who's just really good at football. But there has to be a balance there that the Titans have not found well enough. I will say this, because I think there's this concept out there that the Titans have a bad culture or a bad locker room. And I know that's not what you're saying, but we got a comment saying they need to replace the whole damn roster from top to bottom. The whole thing sucks. The Titans cannot be very good at football, yet also have a least decent culture.
Yeah.
And again, culture shows up when you win. Culture, I think, is assumed to always be bad when you're losing. I go back to what Aditi Kinkhabwala told us of CBS Sports on this show about a month and a half ago, saying, y'all don't have a bad locker room. You don't have a bad bench. You just have a lot of young guys that haven't played NFL football before. I think both things can be true. The Sneed thing sucks. Sneed has been a net negative as a Tennessee Titan. There's no spin to it. There's no other way around it. It has been something that has made you worse more so than it has made you better. He is someone who needed to perform a lot better on the field and obviously needed to not give you this many headaches off the field. It has been a failure. It has been a disaster. He won't be here much longer. You're going to move on very soon. I do not think that this regime would have made that trade. I think that trade, to be quite honest with you, had Rand Carthon's fingerprints all over it. And I think given what we know about Chad Brinker and the moves and the patience that he has preached, giving up the draft capital that they did to go get Legarius Sneed, I don't know if that would be happening under the Borgonzi and Brinker-led Titans. I'm not totally blaming Rand for it. Chad was here for it. Chad may have been able to stop it if he wanted to. I don't know. I wasn't in those rooms. I can't speak with 100%
Borgonzi can give the other side.
What'd you say?
Borgonzi can give the other side.
Well, yeah, because he was the guy that did the deal from the Kansas City perspective. But considering the moves that they have made and the way the Titans have done business under Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker for 1 year, they have not shown the propensity to give up draft capital to obtain players like Legarius Sneed. They are in a different mode of draft and develop, quote unquote, and they followed that. Their actions have backed that up. But yes, Chad Brinker was here for it. He was involved in it. I can't tell you 100% that it was Rand or Chad. I can just tell you that the Brinker-Borgonzi Titans would not have made that trade, and there are reasons why.
So I want to also add to what you just said, too. You said that they don't have a bad culture. They're just a bad team. I also just think, too, I don't think the culture's bad. They're young and just misled, too.
Fair.
Like the setting of the culture has to happen at some point. I think the position coaches are almost going to be more important than the head coach this next time around. And I'm not blaming, like, I think Coach Rocker's good. I think Frank Bush, it's like they got a lot of it, but because I don't want to be disrespectful to those dudes, they are very good position coaches. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the way it's managed from the head coach down is going to be crucial for the next 5. This feels like a next 5 years reset that has to be correct.
The thing is, are you at the beginning of those 5 years or are you in the middle of those 5 years?
I'm weighing it on like Cam.
Oh, does it have to take 5 years? So the Patriots are showing right now it took 2.
That's a great question.
Because the Patriots, and I know Mayo was one of those years. Yeah. Like Vrabel is not there. He didn't start the rebuild. He's maybe at the end of it. But you get the right quarterback. You surround him with a couple of weapons. You hit some doubles and triples and home runs in free agency. It doesn't have to take 5 years.
I feel like the regime that the era that Mayo had was 1 year gap of what Belichick also still had in place.
Well, he had to undo a lot of what Belichick had in place because a lot of those Belichick guys were the problem because he just started whiffing on draft picks.
But that was just like a 1 year resetting of it, though, too.
Could this be that 1 year? And then next year, your quarterback starts to develop with some better pieces? I'm just saying it doesn't have to take 5 years.
This is a longer conversation, most definitely.
It is. But I think the Patriots are proof that if you make enough good moves in the offseason and crush it, now that's a high bar. Like you do have to go and crush it. You don't just automatically crush it because you have a lot of money and you have a lot of draft picks, but like there's a world where this team can turn things around pretty quickly.
You know, the one thing that has to happen though too is the second half of the season's got to be lights out for Cam, because that's what the New England Patriots have from Drake May.
Start showing flashes. Start playing better, which, again, is why I am not going to ever root against this team. Set yourself up for success in 26. Okay, you get the fourth pick instead of the first. Look what New England did with the fourth pick. They drafted a left tackle, and all of a sudden their quarterback, who started trending upwards this time last year, looks like an MVP candidate. Sign me up.
It was this time last year for him.
Brad Crawford joins us coming up next. 247 Sports college football writer and analyst. We'll talk playoff rankings. We'll talk Vandy coaching carousel, all of it with Brad next.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Wednesday morning, Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee, rolls on with Fall Network analyst Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling, joined this morning by our good friend Brad Crawford at 247 Sports, talking some college football. Day after we got more playoff rankings last night. Brad, good morning. How are you?
How you guys doing?
We're good, and man, it feels still funny, Brad. Maybe not funny, that's not the right word. It still feels weird to be leading off a conversation like this, talking about Vanderbilt's playoff chances, but that is where we're at this point, Brad. What is the pathway? How challenging is it going to be for Vandy, who's got to beat Kentucky, got to beat Tennessee at this point? I feel like there's this idea, Brad, that 10-2 SEC teams just automatically make it. I look at last night's rankings and see that Vandy's still got a pathway where they need a lot of help. What do you see for the Commodores over these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, you're correct in that assessment, man. They are at the bottom of the pecking order as far as these 6 or 7 possible 10-win teams in the SEC are concerned. Vandy certainly has a shot. I would not say that Clark Lee's team controls its own destiny. It does help the Commodores that Tennessee remained ranked at 6-3 overall in last night's rankings. That'll be another quality win for Vanderbilt if they're able to win that game inside Neyland Stadium on November 29th. But Vanderbilt not only needs to win out against Kentucky and Tennessee, as you mentioned, but it needs some teams ahead of them in the rankings to falter, and that's namely BYU right ahead of them. It would also help if Notre Dame lost one of its remaining 3 games, and, of course, Texas and Oklahoma. If Texas and Oklahoma both win out and finish 10-2, then that's going to squeeze Vanderbilt out.
Brad Crawford, 247 with us. Brad, it's interesting, too, how BYU, they kind of set that standard that with one less loss, BYU still being ahead of Vandy means that if a one-loss BYU hypothetically goes to the Big 12 title game and loses, with last year's criteria, they're probably not going to dock a conference championship loser. That will probably still get in. Do you feel like they're going to be consistent with that, Brad, or are they just making the rules up as they go again on this? Because we could see 2 Big 12 teams get in again and steal a bid if that precedent continues.
Yeah, I think there's 2 scenarios that could unfold here that you want to watch as a Vanderbilt fan. It's, what happens to BYU the remainder of the season, still have to play nationally ranked Cincinnati. Obviously, if BYU loses that game, then there's going to be Texas Tech versus a different Big 12 challenger in that title game. And then the other aspect of this is while Mack Rhodes, the committee chair, said last night that they're not necessarily going to dock teams for losing in their conference championship game, it still creates another data point. And what I think he means by that is, take, for instance, Alabama. If they lose to Oklahoma and then beat Auburn, Alabama still plays Texas A&M in the SEC championship game. However, if A&M beats Alabama in that game and Alabama is 10-3 overall, I think you're going to see Bama slide out of that top 4 and a team like Georgia get a first-round bye. So while it's not going to knock a team out of the playoff for losing in a conference championship game, but it will affect seeding, in my opinion.
Brad Crawford, 247 Sports with us right now. Brad, on the business side of these playoff scenarios and teams that are hot and coaches and contracts, man, there's 2 hot coaches I see right now in the SEC, and there's probably others too, but Lane Kiffin and Clark Lee. No extensions just yet. How do you view this, specifically for a guy here in Vanderbilt that has an opportunity playing the CFP for them and, considering Cignetti's got his deal already? Is this just how it's going to go, or do you see Clark Lee at least looking outside of Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Clark Lee's agent, I'm certainly hammering his name to some of these bigger jobs than Vanderbilt's current standing. I mean, you see what Lee has done this season with a veteran quarterback and roster that, he and Barton Simmons have helped build in Nashville. And I think he could win even bigger at a legitimate top 10 program with vast more resources and obviously a opportunity to hire maybe even a better coaching staff. Now, I do think if Clark Lee leaves Vanderbilt this cycle, he would take the majority of his coaches currently at Vanderbilt with him. But like I said, if I'm representing Clark Lee, just like John Summerall's situation, just like Brent Key's situation at Georgia Tech, those 3 coaches, their pedigree and their value overall is never going to be higher than it is right now this season in the middle of November with 3 of those teams all competing for college football playoff opportunities.
Have you ever seen somebody bet on themselves as far as if Clark does stay at Vanderbilt, which a lot of people, and I somewhat think he will, but I understand the coaching world that you got to go when you're hot because you can always either come back home or find something equal after you fall from grace.
You know, I mean, like Lane Kiffin has the same situation unfolding at Ole Miss, and it's the same thing for Clark Lee. Does Clark believe he can make the playoff and win a title at Vanderbilt? If he does believe that, then maybe you stay in Nashville and say no to a lot of these offerings. And the same goes for Lane Kiffin in the Florida situation. There's a reason that he has not accepted that position yet. If he believes he can get to the playoff with Ole Miss, and obviously he's going to be a first-round home game recipient this season and win there, you know, why would you leave? Because Vanderbilt and Ole Miss, they're going to be able to pay Clark Lee and Lane Kiffin as much as other jobs would. It's just the resources are not the same at those two programs as they would be at Florida and, say, Clark Lee taking the Penn State position.
Brad Crawford, 247 CBS Sports, joining us this morning, talking college football at BCrawford247, where you follow him on Twitter. Brad, when you look at the LSU job and all of the stuff surrounding the LSU job that's not just coaching the football team, feels a lot like Tennessee 10 years ago with the dysfunction and the lack of alignment that they have had. And then you get the fact that Brian Kelly is like maybe not technically terminated by the university, all of these things. Do you think that those extra factors impact the quality of this job, and how will that impact the way coaches like a Clark Lee, like a maybe Marcus Freeman, view the prospects of taking on that job and also the headaches that might come with it?
I think it certainly does. That shows that powers outside of the football program are meddling. And, you know, as a CEO type head coach, I don't think anybody wants that job right now if they're going to have to answer to others about roster moves and how they game plan and certain calls on Saturdays. I mean, you want to be able to have exclusivity there and not have to deal with some of the outside noise. And the same goes for Auburn, though I think Auburn's AD coming out a few weeks ago and saying, I'm the man who's going to make this hire, that's a big step in the right direction on the Plains, considering the last three coaches there have all failed. So, I mean, I think right now of these several SEC jobs that are open, I would not automatically assume LSU is the top position. I don't think the Tigers are going to be able to convince a elite sitting head coach elsewhere to take that job in Baton Rouge, given the circumstances with, you know, political issues and the meddling, as I mentioned there. So LSU's a job probably number 2 or 3 available right now in the SEC, and I think Auburn or Florida are in that top spot.
So, Brad, when you look at, I think there's 2 candidates that have maybe not totally the same profile, but similar profiles in the programs they're at, the winning that they've done without being at the elite level, and that's Jeff Brom at Louisville, and that's Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. Between those 2 guys who are going to continue being floated for these open SEC jobs, who do you think would be the bigger success at a bigger step up between Drinkwitz or Jeff Brom?
Yeah, I think Drinkwitz, if he winds up being the guy at Florida and the Gators swing and miss on Lane Kiffin in favor of staying in Oxford, I think Eli Drinkwitz could win big with the Gators. I mean, he's going to go to a football first university that has won national championships this century, and we've seen him do more with less at Missouri. And I think Florida's next hire, if I'm Scott Strickland, the AD there, part of that search committee, I'm looking for a guy who, you know, if the resources are there, can win big at that current stop. And I think that's Eli Drinkwitz. We saw him beat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl a couple years ago. You know, prior to this season, he had done pretty well against nationally ranked competition, and he's done pretty well in the transfer portal as well. Player evaluations in this new era of recruiting, fellas, is super key. We've seen Clark Lee be kind of an ace in that, finding Diego Pavia and some other guys, and we've seen Drinkwitz with the acquisitions of Ahmad Hardy and guys like Damon Wilson and that kind of thing really do well in the portal too.
Talking with Brad Crawford this morning. Brad, you mentioned sitting head coaches taking jobs, man. About 2.5, 3 weeks ago, Steve Sarkisian's name was thrown out into the Tennessee Titans job. Whether it was from him, his camp, somebody around that heard a conversation. Where are we at with him looking at other places as far as going pro? I know they were speaking about other coaches taking the Bill Belichick also in a position of, does he take this Giants job? Do you see any of these coaches taking the pro leap or sitting coaches leaving like this one?
I think if Bill Belichick and Chapel Hill, Ramon, had a chance to go back to the NFL, he would leave immediately. That's the vibe I get based on sources around that program. I think there's a reason that Bill Belichick is coaching in college, because the NFL was done with him. Once he lost Tom Brady and had a couple of losing seasons there with the Pats, there were several vacancies that could have tapped him and interviewed him, and it just didn't happen, so he left the NFL for college ranks. I think Bill Belichick will be the head coach of the Tar Heels in 2026. For Steve Sarkisian's case, and even Kirby Smart at Georgia, Kirby's been a guy that, at least inside the industry, people have told us that, there's representation for him that has reached out to NFL last couple cycles. I don't think he leaves Georgia, but Steve Sarkisian's a guy at Texas that he has NFL experience. He's called plays in the NFL before. And if Texas would have flatlined during the second half of this season, like it appeared they were going to do a couple weeks ago after losing to Florida, then maybe he does jump. But, Sarkisian's made the playoff semifinal back-to-back years. He's been a touchdown away from getting to the title game. And I think Sark, I can't speak for him, obviously, but I think he believes he can win a title at Texas, and I'm in agreement with him.
Right. The issue that we're having right now in college sports is these major P4 jobs are firing coaches because they're underperforming, simply because either the transfer portal players didn't work out or the NIL structure is getting a little tight right now. We're looking at LSU that needs about $100 million to fully fire Brian Kelly and also hire new staff and retain a roster too. Brad, from your opinion, your outlook on the college football world, what's the reality of what's acceptable moving forward we're talking about any big major team right now wanting one of those 12 spots? That's a hard life.
It is. And the years of going 7-5 and then hoping for a better season the following year are over, because we're seeing coaches with above 500 records almost inside the top 25 getting fired. You mentioned how much it was going to take LSU to fire Brian Kelly, which they did, and hire a new staff, almost $100 million. That's why Mike Norvell is still employed at FSU right now. The Noles do not have that kind of money, or he would have been axed, following this downtrodden year after they beat Alabama. I think the big issue is if I'm an AD or one of these deep-pocketed boosters who is, paying these salaries and even salaries for players now. I would look at a coach who, I'm paying $3.5 to $4.5 million. And then the rest of my money is going toward my roster. No disrespect to these guys who lead these programs like the Sabans and Dabo Sweeneys, but, they got to where they are because they had 5-star talent at just about every position. And when those players execute, you win big. So I would just stack my roster with as many highest-paid players as I can and forget about all this signing these coaches to these $100 million deals, because, like you said, if you don't give them any kind of runway to transform the program and have success, then you're going to fire him and lose money in 3 years anyway. Might as well, take a shot on an elite player versus an elite coach.
Does Dabo survive? Speaking of Dabo,
I think he does.
Okay.
I think Dabo Sweeney has earned the right to leave Clemson on his own accord. Now, if he starts, continuing to say stuff in front of his AD like, y'all can go ahead and fire me now, then there's going to be some guys in Clemson, South Carolina who just might pull that trigger. But Dabo Sweeney seemed like a guy that just has not adapted to the times. And Nick Saban a few years ago, we saw him adapt. He took Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech out of the portal, and he kind of pick and chose some guys in the what I call free agency cycle. Dabo Sweeney has not done that. So if Dabo Sweeney wants to get back to his elite winning ways at Clemson, and he can certainly do that being in the ACC, then he's going to have to tap the portal and change some of his philosophical thinking.
Brad, to that point, it feels like Georgia is a program under Kirby Smart that hasn't made some of the schematic adjustment that Nick Saban was kind of forced to make on offense when he brought in Lane Kiffin. And meanwhile, Kirby Smart still kind of stuck with Mike Bobo a little bit. But at the same time, the offense has been good enough for them to score in the 40s at times. Their defense has been shakier. They appear to be getting hot at the right time. A&M obviously is a wagon. And then you've got Alabama sitting there as well, just continuing to handle their business. Looking at those contenders Tigers and the top of the SEC, Brad, moving forward into the playoff time of year. Who do you feel most confident in a team's ability to get to and potentially win a national championship?
Well, Texas A&M's a wagon wheel for two reasons. They've fully taken advantage of one of the most favorable SEC schedules in recent years.
Sure.
And credit to Mike Elko for doing that, but they have two quality wins, and the rest, they've beaten 4 or 5 teams who've either fired head coaches or they have faced interim head coaches. So they've taken advantage. Marcel Reed, very good player. Alabama's a team that I think is battle-tested, but, still has not hit on all cylinders under Kalen DeBoer. I think it's a team that could make a deep run in the playoff or could be a first-round exit if they, stumble here late in November, lose A&M in Atlanta, and then kind of enter the playoff beaten up. I don't think that we're going to see the national champion of the 2025 playoff come out of the SEC. I think the SEC as a whole is the deepest conference in college football, but, man, I've watched a lot of ball this year, and Ohio State and Indiana, in my opinion, are the two best teams, and then Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia are in a different tier.
He is Brad Crawford, CBS Sports, 247 Sports, talking college football with us this morning. Always great stuff from him at bcrawford247, where you follow him on social media. Brad, appreciate it as always, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, guys, good to hear from y'all.
Yes, sir. Brad Crawford with us this morning with a lot to talk about in the SEC.
Brad needs a bigger platform.
He's fantastic.
Okay, I was hoping it wasn't just
fantastic.
Me. He's good at it. Well thought of.
Absolutely.
Well thought out, too.
Yeah, one of our favorites. No doubt. We can catch up on your phone calls or reaction to the Evan and Bake chat, 615-737-1045. We've got Rhett Bryan coming up in 20 minutes talking some Titans. Let's do a basketball minute, shall we? We led the show with it. If you were sleeping in, I know many of you were, and that's okay. We forgive you. We'll talk about it again. Kentucky, Louisville, Florida, FSU. As what Ramon said, not my words, Battle of Mississippi between Memphis and Ole Miss.
Yes, sir.
We'll dive into all that coming up next. What's up? It's Will Bowling updating you on what you need to do if you feel like you're not hearing as well as you used to. Go and see my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center, whose team of doctors of audiology are always committed to providing patients with the most recent hearing device technology. We're going to be in a lot of crowded rooms coming up in the next couple of months with Thanksgiving right around the corner. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe you just know that you're not hearing as well when there is background noise. And you got a crowded table where there's one conversation to your left, one to your right, and you're having trouble talking to the person across from you. Brentwood Hearing Center can help with that. If you're having difficulty hearing where there's background noise, you're at a crowded restaurant, you're hearing the table behind you, you want to hear the person in front of you, remember this phone number, 615-377-0420. You can visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. Their doctors of audiology are going to get to know you. They're going to learn where you're having trouble hearing, and they're going to diagnose that issue with the best hearing device technology on the market. Give them a call, 615-377-0420, or visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Wrapping up our number 3. Kentucky and Louisville last night. If you call it Louisville, that's how I know you are a California transplant in the South. That's okay, though. We love all of our Nashvillians, even though we're full and we don't want any more of them. Really good hoops played last night in the Yum Center in Louisville. Louisville led this game by 20 in the second half. If Ron Slay is listening, he'll be proud to know that I watched all of this game. 96-88, the Cardinals getting the job done. Their largest victory over Kentucky in over a decade, almost 2 decades, since 2008.
Yeah, no, it was big. I was just looking at stuff as you was breaking it down. Like, this was I said it before. If you're not a huge fan of the NBA, all right, shame on you, because Wemby is amazing, by the way, too. He is an animal. Did you see his crossover step back 3? Oh, my gosh. Okay, let's just start there.
I did not see that, but I'll take it.
No, listen to me. He's like a friggin' Space Jam. Like, he's a monster out there. I'm so serious. He's a monster out there. But with that being said, this game last night with UK and Louisville was electric from the tip-off. I'm talking about every point that I felt like Louisville had was above the rim last night. Kentucky was trading baskets with them, and at some point last night, UK got cold in the first half, and Louisville just kept driving. Who's the young freshman named Will that everybody's going to have to know?
Michael Brown.
Amazing.
29 points, 20 of them in the first half.
And cooked. Helped facilitate some scores, too. They are that matchup between Louisville and UT is a must watch. I almost feel like if it's a weekend, I gotta kind of get there. I'm gonna be real with you. That game you can't miss that one.
December the 16th in Thompson Bowling Arena at Food City Center.
That better not be a weekday. Don't be a weekday.
Louisville in Tennessee, I believe it is. Yeah.
It's a weekday.
We can go. We can do our show from up there.
We still, dog, it's a Tuesday.
I'm trying to tempt you with a good time.
No, you ain't got to tempt me on this one.
Wednesday morning, Ramon and Will on December 17th from Knoxville. Who says no?
Why? I mean, why not? We could thug it out and drive back, but I'd much rather just spend the night in Knoxville because it's just a place that I love.
Fair enough.
Dear to my heart.
I'm right there with you.
All in all, college basketball is going to be in a good place this year. You got so many 5-star freshmen that are out there clamoring for the attention. Mm-hmm. On top of that, Nate Ament being one of those guys up in Knoxville right now, and he's getting started just the same as these others. UT hadn't had a big matchup the way this UK and Louisville game was last night.
Yet.
But the kid from BYU, there's a kid in North Carolina right now that's a phenom, and then you got the Boozer twins right now also, well, the one in particular at Duke. You're not going to miss anything.
Cameron Boozer is legit.
He is. And not on top of just on top of that, too, the exchanging of cards of players at different universities. I'm watching Kentucky last night, and Denzel Aberdeen is there now, too, if you did not know.
Florida to Kentucky.
I can't imagine the NIL that he got to switch sides like that. And you know what? Right. You can't even be mad at it. That man helped them win a national championship last year.
No doubt. Chris Beard takes Ole Miss over Memphis 83-77. I saw there were Memphis Sports Talk radio hosts like, at least this SEC team will schedule us. Don't ball your fists up, guys. Just deep breaths over there. It's going to be okay. That's closer to an in-state matchup than Tennessee is, by the way. 83-77. Ole Miss shot 62% from 3 in this game as an 8.5-point favorite, winning by 6 at home. Malik Dia.
Yes, sir.
Former Innsworth Tiger, former Belmont Bruin, former Vanderbilt Commodore.
Yeah.
Also well-traveled, but that's college basketball. No judgment there. It's just the way the sport works.
It is.
Certainly going to be an SEC Player of the Year candidate. I know that Ron Slay predicted that on SEC Network a few weeks back.
He absolutely did. They got a good squad. They're unranked right now, but this Ole Miss team's going to have what it takes by the midway through this thing when they start to get into SEC play. They got a front court and a back court right now, man. And like you said, Malik Dia, who only had 13 last night, is still finding his way. You know his clutch gene is there. So if you're guarding him, he's going to be the type man that Savage has always said this, but he's a shooter.
Yeah.
He is an absolute shooter. The SEC is going to be stacked this year. And to be quite honest with you, Memphis is not a bad team either.
No, they're a classic Penny Hardaway team. They'll be like a 8, 9, or 10 seed in the tournament. They'll lose in the first round. They'll beat somebody they're not supposed to, and then they'll fizzle out.
The bus ride over to Oxford, Mississippi is where they went last night, the Battle of Memphis. And I do say that because what's fascinating is first time I saw Ron play live was actually at an Ole Miss game. I know it's Tennessee
Really?
Ole Miss, but yeah, that's not a far drive. That's a home game.
Watching Florida host, yeah, that's right. Watching Florida host Florida State last night, I could not believe it. On the broadcast, I think they said this, and I'm going to look it up right now. Florida State was picked 15th in the ACC
I don't see
out of
how.
17 teams. The household name you're going to need to know about Florida State, Robert McCray last night. 29 points for the Seminoles, who led Florida at halftime in the O-Dome. Florida's going to take some time to get used to their new rotation, to Boogie Flan being a part of things, to having no Walter Clayton Jr., obviously, and the transfers in and out that the Gators and Todd Golden have down there. But Florida State made that really interesting behind the 29 points from Robert McCray, the Jacksonville transfer down there in Tallahassee.
And free throws last night for him, too. Kept this
right
where it was and tight, man. Alex Condon doing exactly what you think he's supposed to do.
Loaded
also.
front court again.
I'm talking
Loaded
about
front court.
They got it, but I didn't expect Florida State to push them the way they did. The dap up at the end of the game between coaches was just like, whew, we made it. Florida State could have easily beat them, and there would have been 2 losses on the season for Florida, who's already had a loss again earlier this season.
FSU was, confirmed, picked 15th out of 18 teams in the ACC. They're not going to finish 15th.
Not with the
I'm
way
going
they
to tell
played.
you now, they're not going to finish 15th.
Not with how they played last night. No, absolutely not.
Tennessee back in action tonight. They take on North Florida, former home of one Chaz Lanier.
Also,
Rick Barnes said yesterday, I believe, or no, it was maybe Monday when he did his pregame press conference, said he's not going to admit it, but Chaz will be cheering for us. He was asked about who's Chaz Lanier cheering for. He goes, well, I know who paid him.
He don't shy away from that at all.
I love it.
He does not shy away from
not
it.
even a little bit. When I had my production meeting with Rick last season, like, he'll tell you, he's like, it's a different world. He said, we've embraced it, but like, these guys are getting paid. He's like, they're just professional basketball players at this point, just at Tennessee.
Which makes it even more stupid that LSU's trying to fire Brian Kelly for just cause. What cause?
Because they hate him. Because they don't want him to coach there anymore. Coming up, Rhett Bryan at Titans Radio joins us. We'll preview Titans and Texans, hit the NFL and Titans headlines with the executive producer of Titans Radio after this.
9:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, a grand jury reportedly indicted cornerback Legarius Sneed in Dallas County, Texas, for the failure to report a felony where a reasonable person would have believed serious bodily harm or death may have been resulted. It's a Class A misdemeanor, which is punishable by a maximum of 1 year in jail, a $4,000 fine, or both. A trial date is not set. The Titans are back on the practice field as they return for the bye week in preparation for the Houston Texans this Sunday with kickoff at noon. Head coach Mike McCoy will speak later today, as well as quarterback Cam Ward immediately following practice. In NFL news this morning, Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka makes his first move since taking over in New York, announcing that Jameis Winston will be the backup quarterback and Russell Wilson will be the third-string quarterback. Rookie starter Jackson Dart is in concussion protocol this week, and Winston would get to start Sunday against the Packers if Dart is unable to go. College hoops tonight as the Tennessee Vols take on North Florida in Knoxville at the Food City Center at 6 p.m. Central. You can join Mike Keith and Chris Lofton on the call starting at 7 o'clock right here on 104.5 The Zone. The broadcast will join in progress right around the start of the second half as soon as Titans Tonight concludes. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the fourth and final hour of your Wednesday morning. Welcome in. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee, with 60 more minutes left in the middle of your week. Ramon Foster is here. Justin Hawkins at the controls. I'm Will Bowling, joined as we are at this time on Wednesday mornings by the executive producer of Titans Radio, Rhett Bryan, at Rhett B Tennessee on Twitter. Good morning. How are you?
Or X, as they now call it, on the X.
How was the bye weekend?
It was good. It was good to unplug. Consumed lots of football. Kept up with some high school stuff on Friday night.
Nice.
And then watched a lot of college football on Saturday, just because it's one of the times where I can really focus on that, knowing I don't have anything to do on Sunday, and start looking at little early draft prep, just seeing who's who in the zoo, as Mac would say, and then really enjoying watching the games in our market on one screen, but just keeping up Scott Hansen in Red Zone. Red Zone is very underrated in my book. And Scott Hansen, man, he just is. He is dodging and weaving and just going in and out of that thing, just making all that happen for all that period of time. It's impressive, but it's the best of all worlds if you're an NFL fan, because they're giving you not just scoring plays, but key pivotal moments that could turn in the game. Maybe it's a turnover, or maybe there was a fourth down goal line stand or something. But that's fun.
Yeah.
I get it.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Yes, it is. The matchups between divisional rivals, I guess, Texans and Jaguars. I was keeping up with it a little bit, Red, but Jags just kind of fell apart, man. They had a big old lead and just lost it.
I watched the entire part of that, just because the entire game, because obviously we haven't seen Jacksonville yet, and we will see Houston Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, the Jags came out in commanding fashion. They forced turnovers, capitalized off of those, and they go into with a Travis Etienne run with about 1:53 left in the third quarter, go into the fourth quarter with a 29-10 lead, only to see that evaporate.
Yeah.
And Houston put 26 unanswered points on the board. It's their second greatest comeback in their franchise history. And a lot of it was executed by Davis Mills, who they elected to keep instead of going into free agency and extend him because they drafted him. And Sunday was his 26th career start. So he has experience. And they did some impressive things in that. So I think they had 33 plays on their 3 drives in the fourth quarter, all ended in touchdowns.
Right.
Davis Mills threw a couple and then ran a 14-yarder in himself. What they were able to do, they're near the bottom of the league in third down efficiency on offense. And I think hovering around 30%, success rate in that. They went 10 of 15 on third down in that game, which is by far their best game of the season with that. And then that crushing defense added its final piece in that was Will Anderson's strip sack, and Sheldon Rankins took it in 32 yards for the final deal. That was impressive. But Davis Mills, I mean, and the other thing too, just noticing, been a lot of split back, divided up carries for the most part between Nick Chubb and rookie Woody Marks. Woody Marks got a lot of those carries in the fourth quarter. That was noticeable in that part of it. But this Texans defense, that's what keeps them in ball games. That's what the story was the first time they met in Houston a few weeks ago, and you've seen it throughout their season so far.
Yeah, no doubt. They are starting to also get more contributions from their rookie wide receivers, who we're going to talk more about as we scout them a little bit coming up here in our next segment. I think it's also Rhett time. We talked a lot about this, or I did here when Ramon was out on Monday. It's time to give the Patriots the respect that they deserve. And I know they have had a kind of a water slide into their season scheduling-wise. They've also handled their business against some of the lesser opponents that they have played. They now have two of the best road wins in the NFL this year after beating Tampa Bay away from home. They beat Buffalo, obviously, away from home on Sunday Night Football a month or so back. And that was my biggest takeaway, and to your point, getting able to watch NFL football with the sound on that we don't often get to do this past weekend and really be a captive audience. That Travion Henderson's emergence in that offense.
Breakout game for him.
And him having that breakout game and literally looking to the sideline and asking permission if he could score a touchdown.
I think Ramondre Stevenson had been sidelined with an injury, and he made the most of it.
Yeah.
He absolutely did. But yeah, you're right. On that long run to seal it, he's looking back at Vrabel like, should I stop? Should I go? Drake May saying stop, don't go any further. He gets the go-ahead and hits the gas.
Crazy, man.
That's awesome.
Listen,
that is.
Travion Henderson, listen, both he and Quinshon Judkins, it's noted how much they contributed to that Ohio State national championship last year, and you saw it again at the level. I watched a very large portion of that game. Now, taking into account that Baker Mayfield didn't have all of his weapons, but those young cats they've got, Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson from Oregon, they are starting to contribute much in the same way that the Titans' young receivers are having to by, some obvious injuries and just, being kind of thrown into the fire. But that was a wild battle to see that. And I mean, I think if the playoffs started today, the Patriots would be the number one seed in the AFC, wouldn't they?
Them and Indy right up there, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Indy would be there.
Yeah. The contenders at the top of both sides, at least in the AFC, are not the teams we expected. And we certainly did not expect Indy and New England to be 1 and 2 at the very top. Denver, in a matchup with Kansas City coming up this weekend, has a chance to prove that they belong at the top with, albeit very shaky quarterback play from Bo Nix at times.
And that's the thing that you have to watch with them. They got defense. We saw that in week one. That again, much like Houston, that's what keeps them in ball games. Bo Nix is going to have to play one of the better games of his season to do what they need to do, because that's in Arrowhead, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But yeah, being a divisional AFC West battle like that, he's going to have to up his game a notch or two. The offense is going to have to help the defense out. They certainly can do that. I do believe they can.
Right.
But, the road through the AFC West goes through that place right there.
Always.
Well, and through both sides of this, in either conference right now, it does feel like the teams at the top have quarterbacks that I don't totally trust in the postseason yet. When you talk about Daniel Jones, Bo Nix, Drake May, and right now, Aaron Rodgers. Those would be your 4 teams with division wins at this point. Beyond that, then you have Justin Herbert in L.A., Josh Allen in Buffalo, Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Right now, Kansas City is on the outside looking in of the playoff picture at 5-4 with a lot of their divisional games still in front of them.
How about Buffalo? Buffalo would be the 6th seed right now if the playoffs started today. They've had their issues in the last month.
Just flagrant on how they lost this weekend.
I think it's just challenging to really predict who the contenders are and what the end of the season is going to look like, because you have so many teams that A, we didn't expect to be here, and B, have quarterbacks who have never played meaningful postseason November, December, January football and are having to do that for the first time.
Well, I'll go back to one thing you mentioned right there with the quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, and he's had a skip or two in recent quarters of action. But as long as their defense does what they've been doing, and they are minus DeForest Buckner right now, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, as much as I hate to admit this, Jonathan Taylor might be the MVP of the whole damn league.
Right.
That dude is a monster.
If he keeps playing like he did Sunday, he's going to be.
I mean, that
That's a
guy
high
had
bar.
270-plus yards all-purpose and 3 scores. That's the four. First of all, he's the first running back in NFL history to have 4 different games with 3 rushing touchdowns through the first 10 weeks of the season. Yeah. Now, he had a monster season in 2021 where he was over 1,800 yards rushing. I forget how many touchdowns.
Right.
He's at 1139 right now with, 8 games to go? 7 games to go for them? I can't remember if they had the bye week or not, but no, they have their bye week this week.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Going to Germany, yeah.
He had that before going into the bye.
He is about to shatter his season best.
I don't even know how to like look at it, to be quite honest with you. Like, in today's world of passing the football, he's getting more on the ground with his legs than his quarterback does through the air. And just so happens the quarterback might give you 225 yards also. Like, that is by far one of the best performances I feel like I've seen this year from a guy like that. And the other part of it too, gotta have it moments. Like, the times in which he scored this past weekend, like you said, it was gotta have it moments too. Like, that also gives you stake in the MVP conversation.
Well, it 100% is a contributing factor. It's like, how much do you mean to your team in a given window of time, which is, in a bigger scope, what the Pro Football Hall of Fame is what your window of your
era.
career where you were a mainstay in success team-wise, whether that's multiple playoff appearances, maybe if you're lucky, a world championship, whatever. Jonathan Taylor, that's always been his MO. You might stop him for no game. You might stop him on a next run for -1. He might get 4 yards the next run, and it's that bust out where he hits a 60, 70-yarder because he's got that kind of breakaway speed and power. That's where he gets you. That's where he gets you. And, I mean, it's scary how good that guy is right now.
83-yard touchdown run, the longest in the NFL this season to win in Germany in the same stadium where Jesse Owens was running for Team USA a generation ago.
In front of Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
One of my favorite athletes of all
And
time.
Jesse Owens said,
Jesse
hey,
Owens, you mean, not Hitler.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so glad you clarified that, and I'm so glad that you pointed that out, Ramon, because that is super
The
important.
last name you used wasn't Jesse Owens.
I said athlete. Jesse Owens is an athlete.
We're very pro-American on this show.
Yeah. What are we?
It's one of the greatest, but all kidding aside, that's one of the greatest sports stories in the history of the world.
100%.
I mean, he won 4 gold medals in that?
100, 200 long jump. I believe it was 3.
But I mean, in front of the axis of evil, the dictator, and said, oh, no. We're over here in America.
We're going to do it again, and that's what JT
4, you're right. 4 by 1 also. Yeah, 3 individuals.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure. But it's one of the greatest sports stories in the history of the world.
It is. And 2, Jesse Owens also, we talk a lot about, obviously, in sports when we have like times and stuff with Usain Bolt and all these things, like fastest man to ever live and all these things. If you had given Jesse Owens today's technology, today's nutrition, today's training, today's surfaces and spikes, I think he would have been right up there with the very best ever still.
I'm going to give you another one I would throw into the pot who was an NFL player, former Dallas Cowboy Bullet Bob Hayes. He was at one time the fastest man in the world. Look up old Bullet Bob Hayes.
You don't get a name like Bullet without being a pretty quick dude.
Bingo.
Coming up with Rhett Bryan.
Hall of Famer.
There is one Titans player in a position that is hard to evaluate that I found a stat on you're going to love coming back. One of the best stories of the season for the Titans we'll talk about. Plus, previewing the Texans and the Titans and what to expect when Houston comes to town this weekend. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you or if it'll get fixed correctly or if somebody's just trying to sell you something you do not need. When you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you tell is the price that you will actually pay. No hidden fees or surprises when you get your bill. Hiller's been in business for over 35 years, and our family owned and operated. Their techs very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background and drug screened too. When they're on your way, check this out. They'll send you a picture of the tech and a link to track them in real time so you're not sitting around wasting time for somebody to show up to your house. The motto is, and they believe this, happy you'll be or the service is free. If you want to learn more about Hiller or book with them like I do, I use the website, man. I'm going to give it to you right now. You can go visit them at happyhiller.com and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramona Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee on this Wednesday morning. If you need that pure energy to start your morning, Scooter's Coffee's got it for you in the form of cinnamon rolls, in the form of protein smoothies, coffee. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. You need good pure energy to start your morning, and they've got it.
Love a lot of that pure energy,
Locally
man.
owned as well, so you can go see them. It'll be fast, it'll be quick, and they will be very kind with their service.
As long as it's pure is all that matters.
There it is.
Rhett Bryan in studio with us, executive producer of Titans Radio. I had a stat that I found yesterday in prepping for the game this weekend.
Go.
In a position that is hard to evaluate statistically, inside linebacker. Cedric Gray, according to Pro Football Focus, fourth best run defense grade in the NFL this season, has the second most run stops of any player in the NFL in 2025. That includes defensive linemen, that includes linebackers, edge rushers. Cedric Gray trailing only Demario Davis in terms of run stops, according to Pro Football Focus.
That guy's surgical.
Wow.
Yeah, that's moving.
You know what that does too? That confirms. I'm going to take us down a side path for just a second. Yesterday's Veterans Day, and I went to Operation Stand Down Tennessee, just down the street here at 12th Avenue South. The Titans cheerleaders, T-Rack, and some players showed up. We had lunch. We served lunch to the vets that were there, about 50 of them. And then I got to call bingo, and you talk about some competitive people in bingo now.
Nice.
Yes.
Now, pepper in, this was an event as part of Darrell Baker Jr., the cornerback, for his Salute to Service. He's the Salute to Service nominee for the Titans, and it's a league-wide award that will be named the night before Super Bowl 60 at the NFL Honors. And so Darrell Baker, who both of his parents are retired Army, he's there. He's with Kendall Brooks, another cornerback, and then Cody Barton. And, of course, Cody is just a wild man, and he's egging people on, and we're, you're calling the wrong numbers, Rhett. And anyway. And I
sounds like Cody.
As we're serving lunch to the vets, I'm just casually talking to Cody about, stuff, and we started talking shop, and I said, Cedric Gray is playing out of his mind. I said, here you are with 3 picks and a pick 6, but he goes, no, it's true. He said he is a savage against the run.
Yes, sir.
And that is exactly what you just outlined right
No
there.
doubt.
And even Cody admitted himself. He said, I'm still learning this defense because it's new to me. Mm-hmm. And he said, luckily I, see things, and like that pick 6 he had, he knew it was coming. He did just, it was photographic memory. I got this. But he was very complimentary of his teammate and what that is. And I said, his name is mentioned with a lot of the great inside linebackers in Titans history because of, I said, he's had high double-digit tackles in like 5 out of his last 6 games. It's ridiculous.
He's killing it.
He is, I think, the success story not named Jeffrey Simmons, certainly on this defense, and you could argue on this team. And we need more Cedric Grays moving forward into the 2026 offseason, and some of these young players to develop and to step up and to make the most of their opportunities. He certainly has.
Well, and the biggest thing, and Max said it several times this year, he's really kind of like a first-year player himself because he missed 10 games of his rookie season, and then when he comes back, he's trying to acclimate to everything. He's drinking through a fire hose, as they say.
Yeah, right.
And now he knows what to do, and so what do coaches always say, know what to do so that you can play fast and aggressive. Well, that's what he's doing.
For sure.
And he had the starvation area, too, as far as like trying to earn it on special teams.
Yeah.
I think most defensive players should, if they can, or the team needs them to play special teams because that's a different type of grind. Understanding how to make plays, the importance of doing your job and not getting outside of it, because you missing a lane on special teams could be a touchdown. And then also the aggressiveness that we saw from him last year on those special teams moments. He was around the ball a lot when he became activated last year. And it's showing right now he has an affinity for getting to the football.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're right about that because if you think about it, if you start out on special teams, you even have a smaller sample size for success or failure if you do your job right or do not do it correctly. And so then you have a different perspective when you get out there and you're playing 50 snaps, 60 snaps, whatever it is on defense, where you can go, okay, I can forget that last play. Yeah. I'm going to make it up right here. It gives you a different appreciation, which also speaks to this Texans defense and opportunities or lack thereof. So a couple of things that stands out to me statistically with this Texans team. One, in the offensive category, speaks to complementary football. Number 3 team in the NFL in time of possession at 32.5 minutes. And then tied for 5th in turnover ratio, +6. That tells me defense is doing some work. But you go back and look at the defensive stats in this.
It's crazy.
Here's one for you. And they're top 5 in a bunch of categories. They're number 3 in the NFL in first downs allowed per game at 16. That's it. 16.
Gotta earn it.
They're number 1 again in yards per game, number 2 in yards per play, number 2 in rushing yards per game, number 4 in passing yards per game, number 3 in passing yards per play, number 2 in interception rate, which tells you what they do once they get a chance at the football. Number 3 on third down. Like, again, I mean, that's half dozen things. There's a half dozen things there. They're top 5 and even top 3 or number 1 in.
The crazy thing about Houston, Rhett, is their luck, and luck is a difficult word to use, but for lack of a better term, luck in one-score games. They're 1-5 in games decided by a single possession. That one win was over the weekend against Jacksonville, a game in which they trailed 29-10 in the fourth quarter, like you mentioned. Their point differential this season is 8th best in the NFL, and they have a losing record.
Yeah.
When they win, they get their money's worth. And unfortunately,
6
one of those wins
differential
is against the Titans.
Average.
They have outscored their opponents by 54 points this year. Their 19.5-point average margin of victory is number 1 in the NFL. They just haven't been able to close out some of these close games.
And it goes back to what I pointed out in the first segment. Statistically, they're near the bottom of the league on offense, third down.
Right.
About 30% success rate on third down. They were 10 of 15 Sunday against Jacksonville, a lot of it in the fourth quarter. But that's been one of the woes in this. And I'm going to tell you the other thing, and I don't know who we're going to see. You know, we're going to start to tell the story a little bit when injury reports come out this afternoon. As of Monday, C.J. Stroud still in concussion protocol with 3 or 4 other teammates. And Davis Mills, you can't sleep on him, clearly, after what you've seen. But I'm surprised that C.J. Stroud's only been sacked 17 times with the piecemealing that they have tried to do with that offensive line. They were missing a couple of key parts of some starters on Sunday. They started Sidney Sow at guard.
Who?
Sidney Sow.
No, but to your point, though, that's what we spoke about earlier.
Who?
Yeah, like that's what we spoke about earlier with him. Like, and then it's also C.J. Stroud, I guess, if he does come back, what does he continually do with controlling the offense at the line of scrimmage himself? Like, that's been hit or miss. They started the season off, 0-3 before getting a dub. Like, that's just how they, as a group, have operated this year. Seeing what to your point, Davis Mills did and his ability to improv and score with his legs, maybe something that C.J. Stroud can try to incorporate himself to kind of help his defense out. Because, like I know, like having a great defense, your offense not pulling up its end of it, it's eventually going to fall apart.
Let me say this, too. Davis Mills found Nico Collins with regularity. He had a season high in receiving yards on Sunday, which tells you how off that's kind of been with the offense. Yeah. And also, Nico's probably been working through some nicks and things, too. The 2 young gentlemen that are the draft picks from Iowa State have done their job. Xavier, is it Xavier Henderson? I forget the other. Hutchinson.
Yeah.
He started to show a spike in targets and things as well. And then Dalton Schultz shows he's got the hands and the prowess at tight end. I mean, I don't know how many different receivers he found in that game Sunday, but
all up.
It must have been. It must have been. Right. So, but you bring up a great point, because if it's Davis Mills, then maybe you can try to rinse and repeat what you did. Don't let the team get out ahead of you 29-10. But yeah, is the greater conundrum, what do we do if C.J. Stroud is back in? Obviously, forward facing, that's who they want to be, behind center. But I mean, they got a lot of injury concerns like many people do this time of the year, all around the league.
They do, and it's all around their starting lineup. I mean, Christian Harris out with a shin injury last week. Titus Howard and Jalen Petrie both joined C.J. Stroud with concussions, the concussion protocol, and then Ed Ingram with the knee injury up front. So they go left to right of the offensive line. Ariante Ursery, the second-round pick out of Minnesota.
Yep.
Jarrett Patterson, Jake Andrews, Juice Scruggs, and either Titus Howard or Blake Fisher, the second-year right tackle out of Notre Dame, who was the other tackle that played on the other side of Joe Alt. Our former draft crush.
And I think City South started the first 8 snaps at one of those guard spots.
Yeah, Scruggs
on Sunday.
is not. Juice Scruggs is.
He's been up and
not
down.
The strength of their
He's
team.
been up and down. So is Titus Howard. I mean, all of these guys, that's been the problem with why they have not been successful in the last 18 months or so, is because they've been trying to figure out who are the starting 5 that works the best with what they're trying to do. And you could tell, if that was in place, this AFC South division conversation might be a little different, despite what Indianapolis and Jacksonville have been doing.
The challenging part about playing the Texans defense is that since their bye week over the last 4 games, an 8-point loss at Seattle, an 11-point win against San Francisco, a narrow defeat to Denver, and then this win over Jacksonville, they have forced 9 turnovers in those 4 games since their bye week. Their defense has forced turnovers every week since week 3 when they lost to Jacksonville, and every single game except for their week 2 loss by 1 point, mind you, to Tampa, which has aged a lot better because now we know Tampa as one of the best teams of the NFL. I'm not trying to pump their tires too much and say that they're an unbeatable team. Obviously, they're not. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a losing record.
Correct.
But you look at who they've lost to. At L.A., Tampa, at Jacksonville, at Seattle, Denver. There's not really a bad loss in there.
No. And here's the other part. For folks out there driving to work and like, is this an infomercial for the Texans? No, this is a look at what they've been doing.
It's an illustration of what you're up against this
weekend. If they're good on defense, they're good on defense. The eye in the sky never lies.
Right.
And listen, the 2 guys, and they've got dudes all through the 3 levels, but the 2 guys that make it work, Will Anderson Jr. and Daniil Hunter. Now, Daniil Hunter, let me give you his whole stat line last Sunday. 3.5 sacks. How about 7 tackles, 4 for loss, 8 quarterback pressures.
Second in the NFL, Will Anderson Jr. with 53 pressures. Daniil Hunter, 8th with 43. They have 2 of the top 8 pressure getters in the National Football League.
So think about that in math. They account for 86 of the team's quarterbacks' pressures, just the 2 of them, and 14 and a half of their team total 22 sacks. And when I say it starts with those 2, there's the proof in the pudding right there.
So to our point about earlier in the show, we talked about how much the Titans offense can change out of the bye. And Mike McCoy spoke to the media Monday saying, we are starting with 3rd down. We've got to be better on 3rd down in order to sustain some of these drives and not stall out when we cross the 50. That also starts with protection on 3rd down and being able to protect against some of these 2 linebackers over the center cover 0 looks the Titans offense is getting time and time again on 3rd and 3 all the way to 3rd and 15, because Red, against the Chargers, we started to see the Titans put themselves in more manageable 3rd downs, yet they still weren't able to see that difference in overall conversions.
One of the takeaways that I hadn't really thought about that he said, that Mike McCoy said on Monday, that I thought was interesting, when you're looking at what you're trying to adjust post-buy in self-scouting and self-evaluation, he said, we might have a play that when we started this thing, that we really like this, we like this personnel, and this guy does this, and this works well in practice. It's starting to show a little in the games. And then because of an injury or someone has moved to a different place, whatever, it changes some things. And you're looking at, well, let's see who we can figure out has a better success rate. I'm paraphrasing poorly, but
no, I think
it was a valid point.
Yeah.
That you don't really think about the intricacies of, the game within the game.
For sure.
In matchups and trying to create advantages for yourself. Listen, I think Sunday comes down to if Cam Ward can get rid of the football with good time and that the Wolves are turned away from the door because the ball is sailing in the right direction.
Right.
these young rooks continue to do what they do in Elikai Manor and Chim Dike. And then if you can somehow, because those things are working, get the run game going and having Tajay and Tony involved, you give yourself a chance. The big thing we're going to see, good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise, if Jeffrey Simmons can get back into the lineup to go with Devondre Sweat, which it's a handful of quarters the two of them have been together this season because of injury, that's going to help you as much as anything. Like I had somebody ask me, it's like, well, what about the secondary? They've moved all these stuff around. If you're hammering up front, I've seen a lot of secondaries that you go, well, that's an interesting lineup that end up getting some gift wrap things because they're in the right place, right time because it's havoc up front.
Yep.
That matchup was also when a lot of changes happened for the Titans, too, as far as coaching change, the loss to Houston and everything else getting blanketed down there. What you did see earlier in that game and just the effectiveness of it, to your point, is Jeffrey Simmons had a day. Earlier on, he was in the backfield. Arden Key also benefited from that, too. The health of potentially getting Jeff back this week, he said he can't wait to get back.
I hope you get Arden Key back, too.
Arden also has to pay his dividends because, again, you got to be able to fight that Anderson and Daniil Hunter matchup that they have. We're talking about two guys that are on a heater right now. I'm not sure who's the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, but Daniil Hunter's got to be somewhere around this conversation. And the Titans got to see him coming out of the bottom.
Yeah,
I would think so.
So that part of it, where are we at on also J.C. Latham's health coming out of it too? Because you ask, there's the speculation that he's good, but not all the way good.
With what he had, which I believe was a hip flexor.
Correct.
I don't know with the position he played. I don't know if you get fully back from that. I think you get serviceable, which is I think what have seen. I mean, I don't know how. There's no magic potion, There's no old school Bayou magic poultice you can rub on his hip that makes everything go away.
That'd be great.
There was.
I wish there was too, because I was like, hey, can I get that Amazon drop shipped right here to Great Circle?
Michael's secret sauce.
You see the bubble? Drop it right there. And listen, it's not just J.C. Latham. It's all these dudes. Everybody's banged up at this time of the year. You're just getting treatment, and trying to get your body straight and get ready for another bunch of car crashes on Sunday.
That's all right.
Titans radio coverage, an hour out, 11 o'clock. This upcoming Sunday. Excited to be back inside Booth 7 at Nissan Stadium with Rhett Bryan, Taylor Zarzer, Coach Mack, Amy Wells, Lucas Panzica, the entire crew ready to go. Looking forward to it.
3 straight, too.
That's right.
3 straight.
Gonna get comfy.
In the month of November.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Home is home.
Thank you, Rhett. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see y'all, too.
615-737-1045. Final call for phone calls as we wrap up the show with headlines next. Wrapping up the show on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Coming up tomorrow morning, our normal Thursday lineup. Coach Mack will be back on at 7:20. Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, stops by at 8:20. Thursday 3 picks at 9:20. And whatever the Titans have to tell us today in the locker room and at the podium as Mike McCoy and Cam Ward get back to their normal schedule. We'll have some hoops to talk about with Mike tomorrow as well.
We will,
with
man.
Tennessee and North Florida. Do you remember the nickname for North Florida basketball? Or North Florida athletics?
The Chaz Laniers?
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Justin, do you remember?
The Ospreys.
There you go.
Ospreys. Osprey's a
Ospreys?
huge bird,
Ospreys.
too, by the way.
I
They
say
do.
Osprey.
Big old bird nest, by the way. That's my talking North Florida conversation today. I listened to Mike and CeeLo in this past weekend. Actually, I was in Mexico, man. It was a real good broadcast by the group, man. I know the more and more they grow, the better and better it's going to get to. I enjoyed listening to it. I've been internationally gone.
Absolutely.
It was.
Osprey.
Osprey?
According to Merriam-Webster. Osprey. Okay. There you go. ESPN.com has FPI, Football Power Index, chances for the number 1 overall pick, for a top 5 pick, for a top 10 pick. Ramon, what do you think the Titans' odds are for a top 5 pick in the NFL draft from 1 to 100%?
Man, easily about 68%.
ESPN says it is an 87% chance for the Titans to earn a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Top 10 pick, 99.0%. And the Tennessee Titans, according to ESPN.com and the Football Power Index, have the best chance to earn the number 1 overall pick in the NFL at 36.6%.
Who's the second on that? Do you have that too? Because I would say the matchup between them and the Saints is the way I'm looking at it. Like who wins or loses that one?
Cleveland, the second best chance to earn the number 1 overall pick by a wide margin, actually, over the Saints and Jets.
Because of the draft capital? Because they do have an extra first rounder.
Actually, well, but it's Jacksonville's, and Jacksonville's first rounder is not going to be close to number 1.
Leveraging it to move up type of situation.
I don't think that's how they're doing it. I think they're doing it based off of just their first round pick. Says the Browns have a 27% chance to earn number 1. Jets third at 13%. Saints fourth at 9.7%. And the Raiders fifth at 7%.
Browns might not win another game. No. Yeah, well, Titans got to play it.
December 7th, the Tennessee Titans head to Cleveland. I will be there bundled up, as we discussed earlier on the show.
Yeah. Golly, they're going through the gauntlet right now in the last half of the season.
Cleveland?
Yeah. Baltimore, at Vegas, it's a wash. San Fran, the Titans, Bears, Bills, Steelers, and Bengals.
Yeah,
that's rough sledding.
There's 3 games they could win there.
Yeah.
Raiders, Titans, Bengals.
Is the thought that the Titans have the number 1 pick and going to stay there too. Also, this is where for me, it gets very, I guess, in the weeds on what do you want as a franchise.
I mean, there are a lot of people that are going to say they want the number 1 pick, of course. I mean, it would be a major, major deal for this team to be able to trade out of that spot, get a similar haul to what they got 10 years ago when Austin Stanley laid this out the other day at A to Z, Ramon, that 10 years ago, the Rams traded up for a quarterback that played at Cal with an interim coach for the Titans named Mike.
We're doing this.
So the Titans back then had Marcus Mariota. The Rams traded up for Jared Goff, who played at Cal, while the Titans had an interim coach named Mike Balarkey. Now you could have a team trade up for a quarterback that was at Cal, Fernando Mendoza, for the number 1 pick with a Titans team coached by an interim named Mike McCoy.
This is going to be
the X-Files music.
If we're looking at this too, the back-to-back sides of this, I was looking at the last time this has happened with the Cleveland Browns. It was 17 and 18. Those picks were in 17, Myles Garrett, and 18, Baker Mayfield too.
2 pretty good players.
Who's your Myles Garrett, Tennessee Titans?
Two pretty good players.
Who's your Myles Garrett?
Pretty good players. I looked too at what again, and I know you weren't here when we talked about this Monday, but Mike Morganzi's old teammate in Kansas City, Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, kickstarted a whole rebuild by trading out of the number 1 pick, accumulating a lot of draft picks and getting a lot of bullets to fire and a lot of opportunities to hit the target. And look, I would rather this team win than have the number 1 pick and be able to do all of these things. And I'd rather the players on the team get better always than guys who aren't on the team yet be able to be drafted. I just see it as a win-win. Either you go on some game-winning drives, you have some defining moments for Cam, he plays well enough to where you win some games, great. I'd love that. If that means the Titans pick 4th through 8th, fine. That's fine with me. If it means that Cam Ward's showing improvement and this defense has got some guys like Cedric Gray we just talked about stepping up, or if things don't go your way and you are put in that spot, great, because you tell the New York Jets to bring you all the draft picks they have, and all of a sudden you've got 3 first-round picks in the next 2 years to work with that are top 10 caliber, maybe even 4. And now we're starting to really put together a good young roster of rookie contract players who you feel like are the future here.
I do still, I thought about this also. You asked about how long is this reset? Rebuild, screw the reset thing.
Yeah, no, it's a rebuild. For sure. It has been for a little
I
bit.
still look at the end of Cam's the option year is where you decide.
Decide what?
That's how much patience you give to this regime on the rebuild.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest test.
The people in charge in the front office, their success is directly tied to the guy they picked this year, quarterback Cam Ward.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. Deep breaths.
I know.
Literally.
Breakthrough said Jeff Simmons is their Myles Garrett.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah.
You might get enough draft picks, you can draft another one, too.
Yeah.
Hoops
better than one.
Is to say. Back at it tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6 o'clock. Coach Mack will be here. Mike Keith will be here. Thursday, 3 picks to make you money by picking against me. We'll also be here 6 to 10. The Buck Rising Show is next.
You must remember, good people, at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always high.